you up tonight.
Stupid fucking sound. What?
Oh, I feel so good tonight because you know why? I got an air condition up in my garage.
Did you really?
It's cool up in here. Yep, it's blowing right on my ball sack, so I don't have sweaty balls tonight. It is nice. It's not actually hot right now, but it doesn't matter even if it was. I've got it on 68 right now, and I'm feeling good, so I could turn it down to 60 and roll with it, Hoss.
Hey, Paul, this is total sidetrack. Did you change out your chair from what you used to have, or is it still that same ratty chair?
No, see, I don't know what you're talking about because I had the recliner chair forever.
Yeah.
But when I moved all this like a year and a half ago to a desk, I'm in actually a WeWork office chair now.
Listen, with the air conditioning, a nice night how it is, that reclining chair, you could just spend the whole night in the garage.
Oh my gosh, you know what? I could, but I am going fishing early as hell in the morning because I got to go figure out where I'm going to start fishing Saturday morning, and I've only got about 3 to 4 hours depending on how early I get out. I need to be home at 10, so if I can get out there at 5, sun comes up and it's light by like 5:20 or so, and I can start fishing and figure out where I need to go. So I can't be up here fucking around all night tonight.
Fuck off. You're going to be here as long as I fucking say as the commissioner of this show.
Okay, yeah, that's what you say, but your tournament, you just don't even go to.
Oh, listen, I'm going to go right on to it. How dare this man spread my business on TikTok Live? He's up there doing his NPC bullshit.
On
He's
his account, he can't even come on and defend himself.
Correct. What a fucking bitch move. What a bitch move.
Well, I didn't know if you could participate or not.
You didn't even
I
text
went
me
on the Bass and
text me.
because the shit just happened. You know what?
I couldn't.
I got all my shit ready
soccer.
I was
at soccer.
See?
I was texting you at soccer for you to shut the fuck up and quit blowing up my name.
How
Before
were
we go
you
any
even
farther,
watching it? Were you on a burner account?
No, I had no. So, fun fact I learned today. We were talking about it in the green room. So, if you're on the account, so I can see the live that I'm in, but none of the chat, and I can't enter. Right? I don't get the inbox. I also don't get the following page. I just get the generic, like you just joined TikTok FYP, which also I was like, man, I'm getting some wild fucking videos. Why am I getting these? It's because you were on the fucking account. Let me tell you, we talked about YouTube Shorts the other week. I forgot about how wild, unfiltered TikTok is.
But I told a friend of mine, we are friends on TikTok. I comment on their shit. They did something anyway. I commented, "You bastard," with smiley faces.
Oh, yeah.
And I got a guideline violation. I appealed it and lost.
Yeah. Oh, so I also lost the appeal. The video that I put up earlier this week when we were reading one of the really mean reviews, which we got some for tonight, but one about like shitting on the Coast Guard. That whole one, TikTok flagged it as inappropriate because it was unoriginal content. And I was like, it's from my fucking podcast. And I gave them all these links, and they said, nope, unoriginal. So it's stuck at 100 views.
Well, hey, tonight we have Il Yakin on. He is the skinnier, prettier Jake from the Northeast. He's not Jake Harshman. We don't have Jake Harshman on. Even though I will say this, Il Yakin, if you're not married to Josie, then that does take you down a step when we compare you as a Jake, because Jake Harshman has Josie, and Josie is one of the greatest gifts ever given to Bass and Brews.
She's the waffle stomp princess.
And Alex had no idea who the fuck Josie was until he did. Hey, Alex.
Yes.
Send me my fucking crankbaits.
All right. Hey, so before we go any further, though, remember to sign up for the Patreon. That's at patreon.com/Bass and Brews. You can be part of Last Call with Alex and Paul, the Patreon exclusive live show. It's also the only way you'll see us live other than the end of the year Kegger show. That came up on TikTok Live. You motherfuckers are way too distracting. There's no way to actually have a conversation with our guests because we used to do that and they weren't very good conversations. It's better this way. And you can also check us out at bassandbrewspodcast.com. I'm doing some more posts over there. Maybe Paul can give us some, maybe he can give us some diarrhea of the mouth. Or if you people aren't on, the other ones, we've been getting a lot of emails through the website, and we actually have 2 reviews through the email or through the website. So we greatly appreciate all of you. And we're going to kick this off with the game is leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, but then be as mean as fucking possible in the comments. You can also just email them directly at bassandbrews@gmail.com. First one is from Bloody, Bluty. Bloody?
Bloody.
Bloody, okay. Bloody said,
Luddy. Be Luddy in his zales.
Do you think it's Brian Latimer?
No, because it'd be
You don't think so? Well, I think maybe he switched it up so people wouldn't know. But, we've been really getting into these big figures here in the outdoor realm. So I think it's B-Lat.
I had to text Russ Snyder's this week, and I had to tell him that he single-handedly has reversed the Bass and Brews curse to anglers. He single-handedly reversed it to the Bass and Brews good luck charm.
Well, it wasn't just him. Remember, Drunkwood did it too. Drunkwood won after he was on the show. We're going to talk about it because Jake has got a big tournament. Before we get there, though, this is from B. Luddy. He says, on the latest episode, all right, let me pull this up. On the latest episode, you guys had a comedian on, which is odd because it was the least funny episode I've listened to. Fuck. Of course, it's no surprise since the guy was from Oklahoma, the most boring state south of the Mason-Dixon line.
The Mason-Dixon line doesn't even go that far west. So anyway.
It does not. Crack open a cold one and enjoy these bearded bros talk about the craziest stuff not related to fishing while your brain cells slowly die. So that was perfect. Not only was it mean to us, it was also mean to our guests. Sorry about that, Dalton. But Paul, this one got me thinking. Do you know when we hit an era in the show where people didn't know who I was, right? Because it was the Motel 6 Chronicles, right?
It was the 9 months you weren't here.
Yep. So now we have newer people who think it said bearded bros. That makes me so excited because I've had the beard for so long. They just think I've always had it. Yeah. Right? It's amazing. It's awesome. Anyways, when I saw that one, I was kind of tickled pink on that one, even though I'm going to shave this thing soon.
And you should be, because even on the Bass and Brews side of TikTok, at least, people they think it's you. And so we got so many followers that don't follow me on TikTok that follow Bass and Brews, and it's you. But then I had the Facebook. I had the Facebook side, and then also, I try to hop on the Instagram to look at stuff every now and again, and it's always funny because they don't know who they're talking to.
Yeah,
and I try to play it up a little bit. But if y'all message us on the social medias, if it's TikTok, it's Alex. If it's Instagram, it's mostly Alex. It might be me. Yeah. If it's YouTube, it's definitely. If it's YouTube, it's Alex. If it's Facebook, it's definitely me.
I don't even have the login information for that one.
It's the same as Instagram. I don't fucking know. It doesn't
that
matter.
Means it's the same as my bank account also. So, all right, we've got another one here.
I can't wait till I 2-factor authenticate your bank account.
All right, this is from, Paul. This one's a blast from the past. This is Dan the Man. Do you remember Dan? He's going to say yes. He doesn't, though, because he's got a squirrel's memory. But Dan was like one of the first guys, if I remember right, Dan was one of the first guys to buy one of our T-shirts. We had him on. He's like a bait maker. Anyways, he says, well, I'm back at it again. God knows why. I just can't stand not talking about Midget Lumberjack and his wife, Paul, Bigfoot. If these two ever had a baby together, this poor thing would have the shortest arm and legs and the biggest head and feet. What is also be a girl from, man, Dan, you must have been drunk as fuck when you emailed us. Would also have and feet a girl from New Jersey Shore you have ever seen, not to mention bad drinking problem and eat beaver. God only know it gene pool. But I digress. I will say the best damn podcast on the World Wide Web. I love these dudes. Keep it up, brother. Love Dan the Man. Dan, we love you too. You didn't use one piece of punctuation in this whole fucking email. Not one comma, not one period. You used a capital at the very beginning, and that's fucking it. So,
and this is why Alex can't read it, because he doesn't know where to pause.
Yeah, it's tough.
But we got one more. He gave you creative license to pause when you wanted to. And so if I read it, I would have paused at certain intersections to make it more prevalent to sound good, but you just read it like a fucking guy with a GED.
You done?
You done.
All right, next one. Last one. We've got Keith
You're
LeMay.
done.
And some of these are from a while back. So Keith is all the way from December because I was a dipshit and didn't check our email forever. We are checking it. I check that thing daily now. But he says, hey, all, I dropped that YouTube comment about you looking like, it says, hey, Al. All right. Just so people know, I fucking hate being called Al. My name is fucking Alex. It's not fucking Al. I'm not an Albert. It's fucking Alex. He says, hey,
I'm calling you Al from the rest of this time to the end of time.
He says, hey, Al, I dropped that YouTube comment about you looking like Jimmy Kimmel. I would be more than willing to drop the hammer on Flabber Hammer. Also a big fan. I listen to every episode. My dad got in my car when you guys were on the Bluetooth. He was cracking up about Paul trying to hold his breath to lean over to grab a fish. That's a callback. Yeah. Because he's so fat. Yeah.
Yeah, it was not to hold the fish. It was to measure the fish on the board. I had to take a really deep breath and exhale the breath to get my stomach to suck in enough to hold it. But I've lost a little bit of weight, so it's not as hard anymore for sure. But yeah, that is a blast from the past.
Again, if you guys want to be part of this, leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and then be mean as fuck. Or go to bassandbrews@gmail.com. Or go to bassandbrewspodcast.com. All options.
Did we not have any Apple reviews?
We did. The first one was an Apple review.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Yep. I covered them all. Thanks, dickhead. Anyways, hey, we got Jake Ilyak in here.
Hey,
Jake.
speaking of dickheads, do you know who your doppelganger on TikTok is?
No, I don't.
I sent it to you before. It's Bearded Bison Jerky.
Okay.
If you search Bearded Bison, it's bearded. I think it's Bearded Bison Jerky. Y'all go look at this shit, because when Bearded Bison, he does a lot of lives. When he pops up on mine for a split second or two, I think it's Alex. I mean, he's a little bit bigger than Alex. Yeah, but y'all have the same beard length, the same color beard, the same face. Like y'all are doppelgangers, man. So go check out Bearded Bison Jerky, Bearded Bison, whatever the fuck it is. But tell him he looks like Alex from Bass and Brews and start confusing the shit out of him.
Great. All right, Jake Ilyakin, buddy, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me. I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Oh, I thought you were Jake.
He is.
I am.
Oh, you're fucking
he just
dad
said he was
joke.
tired.
Oh, hey, tired.
Hey,
I'm
what does IL stand for in Ilyakin?
The great state, or not so great state of Illinois.
Oh.
You mean Illinois, right?
Yeah, Illinois.
Hey, that's where Paige for the Love of Trees is from.
No,
I don't think that's true.
No, it's Montana, you dipshit. Montana's where she's at.
Oh, I thought it was Michigan.
Same thing.
I mean, to be fair, like my name makes no sense
fair.
because like 90% of that stuff I film is in Missouri because I live like right on the Mississippi.
Gotcha.
So like you jump over, you're in Missouri.
Oh, you're so if you're Illinois, right on the Missouri, you're kind of at epicenter of the early 1800s of America moving west. And that's the area of where they first met the Mississippi. And when it wasn't Lewis and Clark, but there were some other people that
No, it was
got
Lewis
on the
and Clark. They actually left from my hometown. Was where they started.
They said that there were fish in that fucking river bigger than human beings.
That's what they say. Yeah, there's actually like, well, we could talk about this whenever, but there's a cryptid that is like literally specific to that area that the Native Americans claim lived on our bluffs. There's a giant painting of it up on the bluffs.
Oh
because
shit!
They believed it's called the Piasa bird, and it's basically like,
what's it called again?
A Piasa bird. So if you want to Google it, Piasa bird, like Paisa bird, and it's got deer antlers, like a demon face, dragon wings, antlers, like claws, spiked tail. It's kind of
all of that.
But they claimed it would come down and eat bad kids, Native American kids. And then apparently they shot it and killed it in the river, and then they saved their town and they made a mural. So like when the settlers came there was a mural to it. And yeah, that's
pretty. That's fucking awesome, because that is the journey west. Like that's where it began. That is the Lewis and Clark trailhead.
And they
That's
always
pretty
like
fucking awesome, man.
They just did that like reenactment, like what was it, like whenever like the 200th anniversary or something, they did like, they're like, oh, we're gonna do it again, just like they did, and they even had the same dogs, right? Like the big
really?
And then the dogs died during the journey.
Shit.
You know, just the Newfoundland's like, yeah, update, the dog's dead. So.
You know what's cool? What's cool about the
what's cool about dead dogs
is they were able to track the Lewis and Clark trail by the mercury in the ground from where they camped.
No shit,
because
really?
it was in like their poop and shit where they camped. So wherever they pooped and peed or whatever, they were able to really kind of track their trail, obviously from the ledgers that they kept, the diaries, but also at every campsite there was high mercury content in the poop or something. I could be completely wrong about the specifics, but it was something about the mercury where they camped because of what they were doing, I guess, with mosquitoes. Fuck, I don't know, but that's a little bit of tidbit of history for you that may or may not be correct.
How was Lewis and Clark treated where you are from? I'm from the Northwest, so Lewis and Clark were treated one way. I want to know how they were treated where you were at.
I would say heralded as like a great explorer, because like that's what they make money on. Like you go to any of the places like over across the river, or just even around here. Like I went to Lewis and Clark Elementary School. Like clearly I've been indoctrinated to think that he's a good time bro.
I went to 2 different middle schools. One of them was Lewis and Clark Middle School in Washington.
He got kicked out of both, and
I didn't
he
get
went
kicked
to 2
out
of those
of
middle schools in a year, and didn't even finish either one of them.
I got kicked out of high school, not out of middle school, dickhead. Anyways, no, yeah,
he got kicked out of high school because they thought he was still in middle school because he hadn't grown since he was 10.
Like in Washington State, it depended where you were at. Like if like I grew up, half my time in Washington was in Tacoma, Washington, which isn't like, it's a big kind of metropolis area. And
everybody
then when I moved,
what the fuck Tacoma, Washington is. You don't have to describe it.
And then when we moved to another town that was a little closer to Native American reservations, there was a whole different kind of idea on Lewis and Clark. Just a little different spin on what I heard in elementary school. So,
yep, they fucked it all up.
Who did?
Lewis
Jake
and Clark.
Did? Oh no, I mean,
matter of fact, you know what? All the bad shit that happened west of the Mississippi, we're blaming fucking Jake.
That's fine.
But Jake did learn how to fish from Lewis and Clark because he smacks them.
Sometimes. Hopefully in the next few days too.
So you're saying that your social media is a farce? Because on your social medias, you're always whacking them.
I catch a lot of fish, I guess, but it seems like I do a lot better lately with smallmouth. Like I used to catch a giant largemouth. Like I've caught a 9-pound Illinois largemouth, which might as well be
State record.
15-pounder down. No, our state
Mhm.
record is like 13, and it's not real.
Yeah,
But
fuck,
that's a
that
long
was
story.
from the
The
40s
fuck?
too when they lied.
Well, it was actually from this dude went on vacation to Florida, right? He comes back, he's like, I'm gonna go fishing. All the lakes are frozen. He catches this giant fish. He's like, hey, I just caught this giant fish. And the state of Illinois is like, well, where'd you catch it? He's like, I caught it in the hole in the ice at the strip pit. And they're like, okay, we'll bring it in. And he brings it in, like, okay, new state record. Well, obviously, this dude just went to Florida, caught a Florida strain bass, brought it back, and got the state record because it didn't. All the lakes in the entire state were frozen at the time.
What year was this?
I think it was the 70s.
It was
How the fuck
February
did
of
he keep it
19
alive?
February of 1976, and I just found a Reddit post as we were sitting here talking that has around 5,000 fucking comments.
Because everyone's
About-
pissed, man.
Everybody
this
is
is-
like, this is fucking bullshit. They are
This
like
is
very
something-
adamant.
All right. We need to get Ken Duke on this podcast.
I've
Matt Pangrac, if you're listening, we need to get Ken Duke on this podcast to talk about this Illinois state record
Matt
because Ken
Pangrac
Duke,
is not listening.
because you don't know that. He's our friend. Anyway,
He doesn't listen. He doesn't listen to any podcast. Matt Pangrac.
Anyway.
I'm pretty sure Matt Pangrac does nothing but listen to instrumental Western. Like that's it. He
Fucking
just
idiot.
wants the background music to Red Dead Revolver 2. That video game. That's all he wants to listen to.
Red Dead Redemption. I don't
Same
know.
thing.
It doesn't matter. What I'm saying is we need to get Ken Duke on this podcast with Jake to talk about the Illinois state record that is a farce that was caught in Florida, brought
It's
to
a travesty, dude. It's a
Yeah.
travesty.
we need to make that happen. If anybody listening-
February. Like
Here's the
shit's
kicker.
gonna be.
It's not like he caught it
and
down
in the
here by me.
'70s, that
He
was
caught it
before.
in Chicago, like up north.
Yes.
with cold as balls.
Oh
Like,
shit,
Yes.
Chicago. Did he get out Chicago River?
no, he caught it. He claims he caught it out of a strip pit. I think
What the fuck is a strip head?
so. Like the old coal mines or like quarries
Yep.
that they fill full of. Like there's a ton in the Midwest. They almost look like someone took a hand and put like with this on the map, and they're real skinny, and they fill them up with water. And there's some
Mhm.
big
Yeah,
fish in there.
Those New Jersey ponds that I fish here, Paul, those are all like sand quarry strip pits. Like they strip them down. There's nothing on the bottom. You have like 2 feet of like shallow, and then it's just fucking deep the whole time.
And
It's
if you
just
see
that's-
flat.
There's no cover around the edges. If you see a tree in
Right.
the water, it's like the only
It's
one.
gonna hold every fish in that goddamn pond. If there's anything there, it could be I'm in New Jersey, so it could be a styrofoam
You
cup.
said that 18
It could
times.
be a stroller. It could be a fucking car seat. Those are great cover opportunities for fish in New Jersey because I'm in New Jersey.
Dude, I caught a giant smallmouth off an old car, so I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Fuck yeah.
What
Hey.
was the car?
It was actually like a. Do you guys remember a Ford Tempo?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So it was that, and the only reason I knew it is my mom had one when I was a kid, and I got up to it and I was like, "Holy shit, that's a Ford Tempo!" I looked down in the water and I'm like, "Man, that looks like a spot of fish would be." And I dropped my lure down in there on the river. And out came a smallmouth.
Is there a body in there? Maybe
Probably.
you should call it in.
I
to
mean,
the
it's probably the
police.
body of the driver who drove the Ford Tempo because it
Right.
exploded and they died in the river.
That's the best cover I like. I like trauma cover. I like cover that's caused by direct trauma. That's what I want. All right. So looking back at this, so the theory is this fucker went to Georgia probably and caught a fish. There's reported sightings of him at in the 70s. Somebody was trying to make a pond and trying to make the biggest bass as possible in this pond.
I've heard of
There's
that pond.
pictures of
I know
him
that.
there, right? There's pictures of him there. There's pictures of him holding up a 13-pound fish at said pond. And then all of a sudden this thing gets, and a report said that the fish had a slight rigor mortis, but it could have been due to the cold. Because of how fucking cold. I'm looking at this article from the Chicago Sun that is saying that the fish had slight rigor mortis, but that was just due to the cold outside. So somehow it's so cold that this fish is rigor mortis, but it's still open water because the guy is very clear that he did not catch it on ice. He didn't catch, because that's a whole different rule set.
So this guy was the first cheater in kayak tournaments. You know, when you take a picture of your kayak fish and they look for the eyes to make sure the eyes aren't whited out. This motherfucker was cheating before kayak tournament fishing was even in.
It must be an Illinois thing, because I know a dude who had a fish box fishing a kayak tournament in Southern Illinois. He's going to his box, getting his fish out, and they're like, "Wait a second, why are all these fish look like they've been drugged down the road behind a truck?" Because they've been living in a the last 2 weeks.
Them bitches ain't got no scales on them. What the fuck?
And then they've been
bedding fish,
staked him out, and caught him doing it.
Did you guys ever see that video from Mikey Balls? This is like 4 or 5 years ago, where he was out fishing Okeechobee and he found right, like he found it was a couple days before the tournament. He found a basket full of fucking giants sitting in it.
You guys know the dude who does the prank where if you steal his package, it shoots glitter. I'm sure everyone's seen that.
Yeah.
They need to turn these fish boxes, reverse engineer them, so that the people, when they come to get their fish box back, it shoots something at them.
You know what it's going to shoot at them? It's going to shoot out the Bass and Brews collaboration with Astroglide. So what happens is they find these fish, you pull it out of the water, you get a face full of low tide Bass and Brews Astroglide to the face, which is going to be great for you. I mean, it's going to be kind of embarrassing about how moist you are, but other than that, I think that's
so when the Astroglide shoots out, you can't hold on to the fish because Astroglide is the best lube out there.
So slippery.
And you can't fish the rest of the day because you'll drop your rods.
Exactly, and you're just super turned on at that point too. You can't fish with a rod when you've got a rod.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
It's a proven fact. Hey, I want to take a stance. We don't take many stances on this show. But Bass and Brews is going to take a stance right now. Hey, Ed Walbell, Walbel. You're a fucking liar, dude.
What happened?
You are a fucking liar. That's the guy who caught the fish. That's the guy who caught the fish in Illinois.
Is he still alive? I don't think he is.
I'm guessing he's dead, but guess what? Fuck you, dude. And you know what? Your brother fucked your wife at one point.
Good one. And now and now Jake from Yakin Fishing is like, why the fuck am I on this podcast?
Yeah.
I knew what I was getting into. Don't worry.
Yeah. Well, we try to let people know early on through when we create the group text. Alex is all serious. Hey, Paul, blah, blah, you just introducing everybody. And then I try to make the initial group text before I have met anybody. I try to make it Bass and Brewsy to make sure that when you come on here, it's going to be a shit show.
Jake, what was the first thing? Do you remember the first thing you said in that group chat? I can tell you. He said, "Who dis?" And then nothing for 4 days. Yeah. Nothing for 4 days after that. Just Paul going, "Who dis?"
I didn't really know. I couldn't tell if that's just how he was, or if he actually wanted me to respond or not. So I was like,
Well, who asks a question and doesn't want a response, Jake?
I don't know. Some people are like, "What's up, man?" And it's just a greeting, It's like, "Who dis?"
Oh, he was. Fucking Jake puts you on a level of coolness that you're not even fucking close to at that point. Because actually, Jake, I hadn't even given him your information yet, so he was actually just responding "Who dis? I don't know who this is."
Alex starts two text chains, text group messages, two separate ones with people that I don't even know who the fuck they are. He just starts them and is like, "Hey." Whatever he says, and so I don't know who the fuck any of these people are, and so I got to ask who this to know. And Jake didn't even answer the question; he answered it back with just somebody who can't catch river fish or something like that. I don't know,
dude. I need to be able to catch a lake fish. I need to get my mojo back. Actually, you know what I need? I need to go to Florida real quick, and then
there it is.
Bring him back for Saturday.
There it is.
Go to
Listen,
Florida, catch your
you just do it the
five fish,
Illinois
bring
way.
them back to Alabama, and just you got to keep your Illinois angler rep going by catching fish somewhere else and bringing them and weighing them in
Well,
at
apparently
another location.
Gunnersville has giants. My buddy Dust Off Fishing, we went out for the first day yesterday. He second cast catches a 5-pounder.
No, he didn't. He cheated.
Absolutely,
It was a 2-pounder.
absolutely.
We know
did.
Dust Off. We know
No,
Dust.
no,
He's a pilot.
actually,
He's a
listen.
pilot.
Yeah, he
Dust,
drives like one.
if there's anything
Listen.
we know about pilots between him and Matt,
They're
is
liars.
those motherfuckers, they
They're
lie.
liars.
They are liars.
Between him, Matt,
measured it,
and
so I know
Captain
that he-
Sully, they're all liars. Okay, they're all liars. And I texted Dust Off. You know what he did? He fucking helicoptered that motherfucker in when you weren't looking. He called it a medevac. He dropped a fish
From
right
Florida.
in. Exactly.
He
Hey,
just
speaking
called
of-
up Ed Wall or whatever his name was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Delivered.
Dust Off, I guarantee you he flew around everywhere that he's fishing and he took aerial photos and got like he cheated.
I'll be-
guarantee you he did
I'll
some
be honest,
he
it's not working
did some
for him.
operations.
I told him,
Working
I
for
was like, dude, I was like, you're not catching another fish. You know that, right? I was like, you're gonna have the shittiest tournament ever. He's like, no, I'll be all right. He hasn't caught shit since he caught that 5-pounder.
Hey, you
on the
can't win a
first cast.
tournament in practice though. Can't win it in practice.
All right, I want to know. So
I
you brought
hate
him up.
practice.
Hey Jake, has anybody
Everybody
ever
hates
told you
practice.
you got pretty teeth?
Do I?
Oh.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like they're pretty standard.
That was
Really?
a weird comment, Paul.
Man, shit, I'd lick the hell out of them things.
Oh, there it is. There it is. It's weird. Hey, so you mentioned Dust Off and you know Yak Dragon too, but you guys are all kind of in the same area, correct?
Sort of, yeah. I mean, they're so like it's more of like a meet halfway thing if we ever
Right.
fish, which is fine. I mean, they live in southern Missouri, so like Table Rock area, whereas
Yeah.
I'm more like St. Louis area, like where you're more likely to get shot. So usually
It's
we
also-
meet halfway. Where
It's
we
also
won't
the
get
area
shot.
of fake barbecue.
You don't like St. Louis style? It's real
It's
wet.
fucking fake barbecue. Anyway, keep on with your story.
So yeah, we meet up. We fish quite a bit. I fish with the yak dragger the most because he tends
Yeah.
to have more free time. Because being a pilot is hard.
Who the fuck is Yak
It is.
Dragon?
You know
Ryan,
him. He's
yeah,
got
yeah.
he's got this newfangled kayak that's not a
The
kayak.
flip cat?
It's dude, that thing is fucking. I want to have him on the
Okay.
show to talk about this monstrosity.
Dude, he would totally do that. But I have an insane story about that thing. I took him on the hardest float that we do. It is like I don't bring anyone that I don't think can handle it, right? It's 15 miles. Technically, it's more like 18 motors required to float this river.
Damn.
Typically, you paddle, right? But you have to have a motor just in case. I'm like, hey, what kayak are you going to bring? He was like, actually, I think I'm going to bring the Flip Cat. And I'm like, okay, water's down. It's going to be pretty low. We get about 1/3 of the way in. He fucking broke his motor. Straight up broke his motor. He's almost flipped like 3 times. His Flip Cat's got some water in it. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to pull you through these dead stretches. He's like, no, I'm no pussy. No one's pulling me. I'm
Yeah, that
doing
guy's
this
prior
old-fashioned
military,
way.
correct?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
Air Force.
He ain't fucking around.
So he's refusing. He's like, nope, I'm gonna do this. I decided to bring this. I broke my motor. I'm gonna do this the old-fashioned way. We didn't get back to the ramp until we literally had maybe 10 minutes of daylight left to load all our stuff and go back to our car, which, by the way, was like 45 minutes upstream. So
Ugh.
like we get into some crazy stuff. And I'll be honest, that Flip Cat does do pretty well. I mean, he made it work.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not a river kayak, let me tell you.
What are
No.
you fishing out of there, Jake?
So I have a Crescent Shoaly, like Drew. I fish out of that on the river specifically. And I've also got a Crescent CK2 Venture, which
Big
is
one.
a big kayak. Yeah, I've got that one with me. I also have an Old Town, a 106, just like, so those are the 3 I have.
Not me. I don't have a 106. Get the fuck out of here.
What do you got, a 120?
Yeah, I do. I'm a
Yeah,
big
you're
boy.
big.
I got big boy kayak.
Yeah, the 106 was much too small for me because I'm like 6'3", and
You're
I was-
6'3"?
Yeah,
What do you weigh?
Oh, this
150?
motherfucker!
God
This
damn,
This
you're a string
motherfucker
bean.
is on all the way. Like when you set the seat, you are like 2 inches two notches back on that thing.
I bought the seat
Jeez.
risers, and I'm like, no, I need more.
Yeah.
I need more.
Yeah.
And so I bought more.
Damn. Now your receding hairline makes sense.
That's just how it is, man. I've had that since I was like 10 years old.
Oh,
Damn.
so it's the same thing with Alex.
My grandpa,
he's had
is
that
not
same height
bald.
since he was
He has
10.
this, so I know my mom's dad is just like this. So I know I'm good.
Look
That's
at all
good.
this luscious
I'm
hair.
good.
Look at all this luscious hair, though.
Your baldness or lack thereof comes from your mama's side as a
Mhm.
male. So if your mama's daddy
Okay.
got hair, you gonna have hair.
He got
But
If
hair.
he's
your mama and
86
daddy were bald, your
full
ass
hair.
gonna be bald.
Wait, no.
Well,
Jake
hey,
just
it's
said
okay.
his granddaddy's got
his-
full hair.
That's what exactly.
I
That's
thought
what
it
the fuck I
skips.
just said, motherfucker. It don't matter.
Oh,
It don't matter if he was bald or not. Jake's got
I
pretty.
mean, it
teeth.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know,
got
my,
pretty
my dad
teeth.
is bald, and I was like, if I ever go bald, you know what? So be it. I'll just shave my head and embrace it. I mean,
Hey,
look
You're
at
good.
Joe
You're not
Rogan.
there.
I try to
Hold
tell
on,
my
hold on,
dad.
and I
My
will also
daddy, my
say-
daddy's pretty much bald. He's got like 4 strands of
Oh,
hair
he's
that
holding
he's
on
still
to it?
holding on
Oh,
to
you
it.
got to get rid of
I'm
it.
like,
Yeah,
bud,
you
I
gotta
wouldn't
get rid
do
of it.
that.
dude, and
'Cause that just
you know,
screams desperation.
exactly. But you know, my dad at this point in time is the early 70s, so he's still holding on to it. Whereas us that are in our 30s and 40s, like if we going bald, we just gonna embrace the baldness. We ain't holding on to
Done.
shit. We gonna
Done.
be bald, and
Yep.
you know, I mean, it's gonna be nice. And the great thing about being bald and embracing the baldness is you have a slick head. You don't have the stubble that sticks to the fucking pillow. You just got a
That's a good point.
straight, bald, shiny head.
Holy
And-
shit,
and-
that's such a good point.
I know. And when
Yeah.
you get with a woman, like when
Oh.
you rubbing up against her and
Oh,
shit, it
there it
ain't
is, there it
sticking
is.
to her like damn
There it is.
Velcro. It's a good, nice little. You put
There it
put
is.
You know
a
what
KY
sucks
on
about
there,
that, though?
boy. Ooh,
Is maintaining the bic if you're not fully bald.
Right.
So like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can either have like the Homer Simpson, which is like that guy's a
Bozo the
creep,
Clown. Yep.
or you
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be like, oh man, that guy's cool, like Seal. Is Seal
All right.
cool? I don't know.
Which
Well,
seal? Like
probably not anymore. Not anymore.
Seal-
But what about like
seal,
the
like-
Larry David? What about the Larry David, the like completely
No,
bald
fuck
in the middle, but then you keep it
it's
big
the
around the
bozo.
sides?
That's the bozo
It
the
works for him
Clown.
because he's goofy.
Well, right, but like, would you do that or would you just bick the whole thing?
Nah, it's going. It's gotta go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
me
out.
too.
If I was bald,
got a
I would
lumpy
be.
ass
I
head.
would be bald.
And I would still bick it.
Oh, should you have gotten a helmet as a newborn and didn't? It's
No,
a
no,
lumpy head.
it's lumpy.
So it's not. You don't have a slanted head.
No. Do you know what the lumpiness is from? I have a big lump right here. I can still feel it. I've had it checked out. Everything's good. But I took a bonk bat. Remember a couple episodes we talked about those, right?
No, I
Like,
don't remember shit.
All right. So when you catch like a big salmon or a big halibut, you take this
Salmon.
like basically a half a bat and you bash that motherfucker in the head to kill it, right? So I was in the Coast Guard and we busted everybody drink, but we busted some folks illegally fishing halibut, and then some dude. I was 18 years old. It was like my second boarding ever, and he turned around and he hit me with that fucking bat directly in my fucking head, and I still have a bump from it. So, cheers to that guy. Thanks for the 20% disability.
Hey, that guy helped you pass
But,
the GED.
No, I was already in at that point, dickhead.
Hey, Jake, do you have a GED or did you graduate high school?
Oh, he went to
I
a
graduated
fancy
high
school.
school and
He went
college.
to a fancy
Oh,
school.
you
Yeah,
went.
he went
What
to a
college you
fancy
go
school.
to?
I'll give you a guess. I'll give you one guess.
University of Chicago on a film degree.
Nope. University of Chicago, Illinois.
So I went to U of I, so University of Illinois. However, fun
Okay.
fact, I did get into University of Chicago. So you were
Was
you
it on
weren't
a
too
film?
far off. But I was
It's
also
either
like,
film,
no.
It's either film or accounting. One
Why
of the
didn't you go to Loyola?
Well, because I'm not Catholic.
Well, dude, you're
Okay.
6'3". Why didn't you play basketball in high school?
Dude, 6'3" is
Were you
nothing.
clumsy?
Have you seen these guys now? They're like 7 feet.
Yeah, I
tall.
played college football. I was 6'1", and I was one of the smallest people on the fucking team. So yeah, I know.
Yeah, these people are like, you get like bred to be a D1 athlete now. Like it's like designer brand.
What did you get
Did
your
you play
degree
any
in?
sports?
Hold on.
I didn't. I
First-
played hockey for most
Okay.
of my.
So if you and
That's
Bailey
way
Egbert
tougher
from
than
Serious
any sport.
Angler,
Yeah.
were to go 1-on-1 on hockey,
No,
who
Bailey's
would win?
winning. Nope, Bailey's winning.
I feel like Bailey would be like a goalie though. You know, he's kind
No,
of
he was a power forward, whatever the fuck that is. In
Have
hockey.
you seen that
he
man's
just stands in front of
thighs?
the net.
Have
Dude,
you seen that
dude-
I
man's
have, but
thighs
like
and
that's why I'm
cakes?
thinking
Yeah.
like maybe he's
That
like
dude's thighs are big as round as you are. They're as big as round as Alex is tall, and
No
that's
shit.
the only time Alex has been like tall.
Mm-hmm.
Bailey Eibert has thighs like a gymnast.
If Bailey got a deal with Titan, they would say that these are Bailey thigh approved, and that's
Look,
the only.
Bailey should
kayak
get
for it.
a deal with Bojangles for thick fried thighs.
Bailey has to use a half a gallon of Bass and Brews Astroglide just to get through the day because those thighs are so thick.
Dude, have y'all watched his YouTube videos? His ass is seating his pants every time he stands up. Like they are just straight
That's
up
the most awkward
buffet.
thing. Yeah.
Dude,
It's the most awkward thing.
I've actually not posted content because like my ass is like you can see like your butt crack or something.
Yeah, dude.
And I'm like, I've never thought of myself like, oh man, you know, like I got like plumber's butt, but like it's just something that happens, you know? It's like, you're in these like little bitty kayaks.
Yeah, you sit in that kayak and your britches
just
ride
pull
down. They ride down, and so when you stand up, they're either your britches are going up into your butthole like a wet dildo, or you got plumber's crack like nobody's business. It's very unbecoming on those back shots in a kayak.
Yeah, and I only usually film from the back, so there's no getting
That's what
around
she
it.
said. Hell,
Back when I had that midlife crisis where I started skateboarding again, and I tried to do some videos of it, right? I tried to do some videos for it, and I put it on TikTok, right? And I was like, oh, cool. And look at me like doing these tricks from before, and then somebody was like, look at this old dude's sweaty ass crack, because I didn't realize I'd like sweat, but you know what I mean, gotten in there. So like I did like a 180. It was pretty dope. I did a 180 over a trash or a safety cone, not a trash cone, a safety cone. Got a 180 over it. But then not only did the dude make the comment, I was like, oh, damn, you caught me. But then he sticks that, and it was just a freeze frame and a close up of my ass brutal. And a sweaty line in the middle. Yeah. But then he put, look at this old dude just getting it. And I was like, I don't know if that's good or not. Maybe I'll stop posting.
So is posting like washed up skateboarding clips the equivalent of like not shaving your hair when you're going bald?
Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Thanks for that, Jake.
He also posted a still shot. He was trying to do an ollie-oop or something to show his girls that he used to be able to skateboard, and he posted a still shot, and the skateboard was like whatever he tried to do was almost. Speaking of sweaty assholes,
it wasn't. Hold on, Paul. Let's go back. It wasn't up my ass. I was doing a pop shove it, which means the board moves 180, but you stay the same. And that bitch flipped on me, and I landed with my feet not on the right part, and I flipped, and the GoPro actually caught the right moment of where that board directly went into my lower back.
Absolutely perfect still shot.
It's a perfect
sweaty
shot.
asses. Yeah. Speaking of sweaty asses, Jake, you're fishing a national tournament this weekend. Where are you fishing? What's the tournament? What's the trail?
This comes out next week, so you'll be good to let out all your
so
you can say all your shit because nobody's going to hear it till next Friday.
I don't have much, but I'll give you what I got. I'm fishing Bassmaster.
That's what I told her.
Gunnersville.
Okay,
nice.
So
Gunnersville Bassmaster.
And there's like 210 people signed up. It's nuts.
Wow.
And I haven't been to the main lake yet. I know that's gonna blow your mind. I've mostly fished like the northern section, and like we're going to the main lake tomorrow, and I know what it's gonna look like. There's gonna be kayaks literally like everywhere. So
yeah. So all right. So you're a moving water. You're a river creek guy, moving water guy for the most part.
I have been lately. Yeah.
Okay. Well, so since Alex introduced me to your channel, the majority of stuff that I've seen that you've been posting is river fishing, moving water. is that where you're comfortable? Do you use grass? Do you have forward facing sonar? Do you use side scan? Or are you just trying to get into some skinny water and go up there and throw a a spinner bait and a jackhammer and call it good?
So it's a mix of both, to be honest with you. I'm actually pretty well versed in electronics. Like I can go offshore and hang with most people. When I was at 10 Killer, I was doing a lot of live scoping for the championship back in March for the kayak championship. But honestly, like the reason why I wasted so much time up here in the river is like, obviously, like if I could figure out how to make them work in the river, I felt way more comfortable just hitting my Newport on like 8% and going down a bank, hitting the targets as you go.
Is that because it narrows down what you're trying to fish and it makes
No, it's because he bought the fishing license for up there and he's trying to justify the money.
That is true. We were talking about this ahead of time. So I didn't know that Gunnersville is actually like also Tennessee. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. Do I need a fishing license? And we're like, well, of course you do. And I was like, well,
they don't reciprocate.
No, a 3-day license is because weird. Technically you're not in Gunnersville at that point. You're just in the Tennessee River. So we go all the way up there, and it's like, you got to buy a fishing license, and 3 days was $20.
God damn.
We're like, okay, well, we get a 3-day. I was like, what if we go up there and we wreck them? And then we decide
the 3-day
that on the tournament we want to fish there. We're going to spend $20 more. I was like, you know what? For $4 more, let's just get the year. We get the year. We go up north. It sucks. It sucks. Like I caught a catfish. So I caught a catfish on a frog yesterday.
What?
I know. What? People don't believe me. I posted a video of it. Well, I didn't catch the catch on GoPro, but I did post like me holding this catfish, and I'm like, how on earth did I just catch a catfish? Well, anyways, I go, and the only fish I had caught, I did end up catching one small spotted bass yesterday or today up in Tennessee, and then I did eventually catch a good smallmouth. But I caught a catfish to start, and I'm just like, dude, I'm just done with this lake. This is all I'm catching is freaking catfish. I think I'm up to like 6 species. I've caught a drum, a catfish, a bluegill, some other ambiguous perch, spotted bass, largemouth, and a smallmouth.
Hold on, no. Did you tag kayak catfishing when you caught your catfish? You should.
No, we were just talking about him, but
yeah,
we'll talk about
tag Justin and be like, "What, bitch? I got your kayak." Catfish.
Hey, anybody who's artistically inclined out there, can we get some kind of meme or anything? Because Wolf of Wall Street Wolf of Walmart is dealing with life. He just can't deal with it. But can we get some kind of rendition of a Jake, what did you say? A nondescript,
an ambiguous perch.
There it is, an ambiguous perch. Can we get in a picture of an ambiguous perch?
Dude, those sunfish are just like mutts, man. Like you get out there and it's like, well, is this a bluegill or is it a green sunfish?
Yeah, but a perch.
We don't even need somebody with artistic ability. No. We just need somebody good with like Chat GPT. Have y'all seen the little cartoons that are coming up with the Chat remix? I can't talk. There's too many damn vowels and damn shit. What?
Paul, you want to know a secret? You know those skeleton drawings they just put up? On TikTok. Yeah, you liked them and you favorited them. So you did.
I have no idea. I just did that shit.
Oh, cool. Look, but those are done
I treat
by
Bass
like
and Brews like cool. I would block Bass and Brews if it wasn't for me being on here.
I put a little time into one of these AI image generators and like spent some time today like tweaking how they work, and I got some really sweet like skeletons.
They are really good. Yeah.
See, you did see them. Fuck you. Yeah. You did see them. They look great. It took a lot of time to like it took a lot of time to like get it going, and then after that now I just have like an instant generator of like 2 skeletons drinking beers around a campfire. I got a fucking dope one coming out soon. This one's going to be 2 skeletons fighting a guy who's going bald, and we're going to see what pops out of it. But it's going to look like it's from a 1990s comic, and it's going to look awesome.
Speaking of skeletons and me looking skinny, how do you break down a new body of water, Jake? You're going to Gunnersville. You had never been there, it sounds like. How are you breaking down that? Like, we're talking about a big national tournament. We're talking about, what, $300 buy-in, somewhere around there. You're down there for quite a few days. You have lodging, you have travel, like you got 1,500, $2,000 into this tournament.
He's got top of the level lodging right now.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, I'm sure he does.
Do you really want to know how bad our lodging is? So
Who you staying with?
I'm staying with Dust Off Fishing, Yak Dragger, and then Drew Gregory.
Yeah.
And
that's
if y'all
already
got
a
shitty
bad
no,
lodging. Drew
it's
Gregory's,
not. So hold on. It's like anytime you go on these, like you don't get to look at the Airbnb real close when you book it, right? They don't give you the address. You just kind of get like some little previews. And we get here, and I pull up, and I was like, "Wait a sec, is this?" And it's a double wide. It's a double wide on this dude's farm. And I'm like, okay, this can't be it. And they're like, yep. And I text Drew, and he's like, yeah, it's the trailer up front. I'm like, okay. And like, I open the door. And honestly, it's not that bad in here. But the fact that it's like, some dude who owns a farm was like, I'm going to dump a double wide on here and just start Airbnb-ing it is just like genius. Like I can't.
Yeah, it is genius.
So, and I can't tell you how many times this has happened. When I went up to La Crosse, we had a trailer. When we went to Possum Kingdom, it was a freaking double wide. So
makes sense in Texas.
Yeah, Possum Kingdom is out in the middle of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of nowhere.
So all right. So first of all, if Dust Off is in the house with you before we sign off tonight, he needs to come wave at us.
I'll tell him. I think they're at dinner, but when they get back, they should be back.
Well, I'm gonna text his sorry ass. But anyway, regardless, you go to a new body of water, Gunnersville. We're gonna take that. How do you start breaking it down? What do you when you show up? Are you looking for and I referenced this earlier? You looking for the skinny water first, or are you looking where the fish should be? Like, are you going to where I want to catch fish this way, or are you going to fish should be here?
I want to go to where I know fish will be, and then secondary will be I want fish to be here. Today was I want a fish to be here thing, because one of the things I don't want is I don't want to fish around people, and I take that into consideration quite heavily. I learned a really important lesson at the championship. I was like 12th going into this past one. I was 12. I think I had like 86 inches going in after day one.
What lake was this?
10 killer in Oklahoma.
Okay. Yeah.
So I did really well on day one, and it was my own strategy that I cooked up, and I was fishing around a lot of people. Well, day two, I get there, and this cove is just packed. And the media boat's in there. They're like, hey, where's that dude on the crescent, which is me? It's like, he's doing really good. And then like it drew attention. Everyone's coming into this cove, and guess what? It fished awful. There was like twice as many people in there. I'm sitting there grinding. I ended up getting just around 80 inches in the cove because I really had to work for it. But I learned a lesson that like, fishing around, thinking about like where people are going to be and like fishing around people is like half the battle when it comes to this stuff. So when I break down a lake, like, I haven't had any like big wins or anything, but my first thought is, well, is this place going to be able to hold 6 people in here fishing at the same time? Like one of the places we fished yesterday, like I was thinking like, oh man, if like 4 people come in here, we're screwed. We're all going to be like holding each other's hands.
Yeah.
So that's something that I think about. Like,
well, that
and the
also
thing is like my kayak's faster than anybody. I would say that I would put money on it that I'm probably in like the top 1% in speed in this tournament.
What? That's a very strong statistic you put up there. What?
Well, I mean, I can go 7 miles an hour.
Yeah, that's pretty goddamn fast. I mean,
have you thought about Astroglide before
on the bottom
of the boat? Yeah,
I'm already 1 step ahead of you.
There we go.
Make sure you tag.
I'm actually using performance enhancing.
Yeah, make sure you tag Astroglide and Bass and Brews with this. So this is my question. This is my question too. Is that's the thing about these 2-day tournaments, right? So if you go into an area and you catch good fish and people recognize who you are, there's potentially a good opportunity that the next day there's going to be a few extra people in there. That's the thing about the 2-day tournaments. There's a lot to it about managing fish and that, but also your area. If you have a good tournament and your area could get a lot more competition that second day. And you said you got a fast kite, you can go 7 miles an hour. That's pretty good, right? So a couple years ago, I pedaled.
You could go 9,
and I could pedal for 4.5, 5 miles an hour for a couple miles. So in our local tournaments, there was nobody that could beat me to anywhere. But now we do have guys that are running motors and stuff that can beat me to these spots. So you have to think about, and again, to these 2 days tournaments, can I manage my fish is one thing. Do I have enough fish in this one area? But then the second day rolls around, it's like, yeah, I got enough fish. I've got 5 bites in this area. But second day rolls around, and you've got 4 or 5 extra people there, and now they're taking a bite or 2 away, and now you have 3 fish.
Yeah,
like that's those
what happens.
yeah.
I'm not a day 2 angler. I'm a day 2 choker. Like I need a good day 2.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, if I had a bad day 1 and then went out and wrecked him on day 2, I'd feel great because I'm like, at least I caught him on day 2. You know, I'm not driving home thinking like, man, why did I do this to myself?
Yeah, that's right. You're not like me when I've been to my tournaments where I have an okay, like a average to just below average first day, and then the second day I go out and suck. So the whole ride home, I'm going like, I'm a sorry ass motherfucker. I should quit fishing. I should just drop my kayak and all my shit off on the side of the road and let the homeless people take it so they can eat.
Yep. I mean, fishing is brutal, man. Like you go from feeling like KVD to feeling like
Paul.
Fuck you.
I mean, that's it, right? Like, I mean, you feel like on top of the world, and then you feel like an overweight loser who doesn't produce. Yeah.
It's like you have like a really bad practice and you go out and wreck them.
Yeah.
But then you have a really good practice and you just like go out and you're like, do I remember how to catch a fish? Honestly, like after today, I'm not sure that I do.
Hey, it's okay. Alex doesn't fish tournaments, and even when he signs up for one, he still doesn't fish it. So he has no idea what that feeling's like because he's a little bitch that's scared to tournament fish, and he shouldn't be because he would have the greatest time of his life if he would start fishing tournaments.
I mean, tournaments are a grind if you do a lot of them. Now, if you're just doing one, it's like you'll have fun for sure. But
you know, it's really fun though.
Tomorrow is at 4 or the lines in is at 5 a.m. on Saturday. And I was like,
see, I don't even fish that early ever. Yeah, I don't even fish.
I got to launch at 4:45. Like, it's crazy.
All right, you know what's really fun though? To either marry somebody, fuck somebody, or kill somebody. So, do you know this game, Jake?
I do.
All right, I'm going to give you 3 options. You got to marry one, fuck one, kill one. Bigfoot, Loch Ness, or aliens.
Man, you should have thrown Piasa Bird in.
Oh no, that's a little bit later. Don't you worry. I've got some pictures.
I mean, I'm killing Loch Ness because like that is the lamest.
Kill Loch Ness.
It's the lamest cryptid. I mean, it's gotta be. Like, it's just there's no.
Even when it looks like that.
Yeah, it's.
You're gonna kill that thing. All right. I gotcha.
I think you would fornicate with Bigfoot.
Fornicate. Okay.
I feel like that's the most compatible.
It's classy. It's also classy. Like as we covered in the last episode, Bigfoot covers her bits. So.
And I also feel like Bigfoot's likely to be more tangible. You know, it's like it's out there somewhere. It's gotta be.
It's maybe right. Yeah.
You know, you marry aliens because like they're gonna have like the sick house, right? But hopefully they don't like the Mars attacks.
Okay. I mean it's a solid lineup for it. We've had I think at this point we've got to switch them up. But that was a very solid set on that. I think the Brewskis will agree with most of that.
Yeah, I think Loch Ness is like definitely one of the bottom tier cryptids. You can't trust anything out of Scotland, man.
I'm gonna tell you what, all the ones that say to fuck Loch Ness, I'm concerned about because it's weird.
I feel like Loch Ness would just eat you. Like, there's no way that thing is like not just feral, you know.
So, do you think Loch Ness is like a praying mantis, where when you breed her, she's gonna rip your head off? Eat your body.
All right, we're concerned about that, but like, all right, so let's just break down like trying to make it work, right? So if you're going to do that, you're not inserting your little you're inserting all of you. You've got to fucking like go to a Get Air trampoline park to bounce up to get up into that thing. There's no way you're getting it with your member. right?
Probably. I mean, what's the dimensions on a Loch Ness monster? Do we even know?
We
The
don't know dimensions
vagina
on
is
any
at
of these things
least-
because none of them are real. And the people that
No.
think they're real are a little
Stop,
misguided.
Paul.
I mean,
Stop,
look,
Paul.
I thought you were just a doubter.
I love me.
Oh no,
Or a
hates him.
skeptic. Skeptic is
Yeah,
different.
I'm
no,
100% a skeptic. Did
You
they
sound like a
did
denier,
they
though.
did
He's a
they
denier.
live? Did they live previously? Besides aliens, they don't exist. But did Loch Ness and did Bigfoot were they animals that lived prior to human existence? I would say so. Aliens don't exist. But like, Shadow of the Red Eye, our boy Shadow of the Red Eye. Look, I get it. You're out there searching for him, but even I don't care how many fucking calls you have or how many shitty videos or grainy pictures you have until you are sitting there with one of those bitches on the back of your truck or tied to the top of your car headed to the wildlife check area. Until I see one of them motherfuckers in real life, they don't exist to me.
Jake, did you listen to the episode with Shadow of the Red Eye?
I did listen to part of it because it was actually when I was driving to one of these things, and
all right.
I remember I was driving through like a dense forest while it was going.
So we kept mentioning these pictures that he showed us, right? So let me show you the picture that he gave us from Trail Cam. This is what he gave us, right?
You got to tell him which one's which, though.
Well, on the left is obviously a chimpanzee with some kind of weird head thing going on. But the one on the right is trail cam footage. And I still think that's weird because if you look at that, that looks like a chimpanzee for sure, right? But
to me, it almost looks like somebody copy and pasted it into a granular ass video.
Oh. No, the arm's a little off. But anyways, the one on the right, he said he got, right? And Paul said, yeah, that looks like a chimpanzee. And then, the response back was, well, how many chimpanzees are roaming around New Jersey? So, I mean, maybe with this one, maybe Bigfoot isn't as big as we think. Maybe it's just a swamp ape.
Maybe that's his secret. He's just really compact.
Yeah. He's a small foot, actually. He's a small toe. He's small toe is what we should call him.
How do you think if big feet do exist, there's a boy Bigfoot and a girl Bigfoot, what do you think their sexual position of choice is?
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, I've seen gorillas do that at the zoo, and it's standing. Yeah. They do it standing.
What do you mean? Like they both stand like facing each other?
No, opposite. So like back to front.
So doggy style.
Chimpy style, or ape
chimpy style. I gotcha.
Do
you think there's any foreplay? Or is it straight up like I'm gonna bang you and then
I don't think they think about that sort of stuff. Have you I feel like they're really aggressive. I gotta imagine Bigfoot's the same way.
Sex is survival for wild animals.
On, Paul, this is the first time you ever asked this question. I've actually got an opinion on this one. So if they're so close to human, I think there is a little bit of foreplay, right? I think there's a little bit. And I think they catch a fish, right? He comes up with a big ass salmon. And he's like, She's like, nah, that motherfucker's only 18 inches. I need at least 24. And he's like, fuck, I'm just ill yakking. I can't get bigger than that. I'm sorry. And you know what I mean? Like, I think that's how it works.
Tribute,
exactly. All right. So you talked about the cryptids in your state. We talked about it, and what was it called again?
The Piasa bird. There it is.
Piasa. There it is.
So eagle talons.
Yep.
Antlers. Dragon tail.
Yep.
I guess bat wings. I don't know what we want to call that.
It's gnarly.
And scales. And it also has a beard.
Yep. We can see the beard on this picture. If you guys aren't following on YouTube, there's definitely a beard. You should look it up. It's to look it up, you need to look up Piasa bird. But also, the future generations have fucked us, and this is also what they're saying it looks like. So I don't know
They
if
asked
that's
AI to make a cryptid. That's what that looks like.
nope. This is somebody dressed as that, and I think some Photoshop in the middle. So that's weird. Yeah.
Hey, as a cryptid believer,
Oh,
Jake,
okay.
and
I
and
believe
you're
That was for me.
I'm not
okay.
sure what I am. I
Okay,
would
well, so
say
as
I'm
a cryptid,
Hold
ambiguous.
on,
Like,
hold on. Let me
no,
finish.
no,
Are you a believer or
bitch,
not?
I'm answering this question. Let me finish mine, then you can
Oh.
ask yours because you know I'll forget if
You
I
should
don't.
just let him finish.
All right, Jake, shut up, Alex. God, you're fucking ruining this whole podcast. Jake, as a cryptid potential believer or non-believer, it doesn't matter. You do a lot of fishing. You get up early. You're out on the water early
Yes, sir.
before light. Maybe you're out on the water after dark. Have you ever had an instant out on the water or in the woods, hiking, whatever, maybe what you do, where you had the heebie jeebies, where something didn't feel right and you thought that there was something out there that wasn't human or that scared the shit out of you and you couldn't explain it? It was a sound, it was a noise, it was a sight, it was a feeling. Have you ever had that in
yeah,
all of your little.
I've had it like on multiple occasions. When I was a kid, like I cut my teeth doing it the hard way. We would do night fishing,
Mm-hmm.
right? My uncle's like, you know what? It's too hot in the summer. Guess what? We're going night fishing. And that
Smart?
was back. We would go to the river sometimes, we'd bass fish, whatever. I remember one time we were at the river and I'm fishing with live crawdads and we're just sitting there, posted up. I get a fish.
Is this
I'm
from the bank or a boat?
from the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. We're reeling it in. All of a sudden I hear like a cat sound. I was probably like a bobcat. But he made this sound, and it just scared the crap out of all of us. Like, we just dropped the rod, and I remember just hearing the drag peeling while we're running away. Because 'cause I'm young,
What?
I'm like,
Yeah,
7
yeah.
years old. The drag's peeling, I'm going the other way. The fish
Fuck
eventually,
that
like,
rod.
pulled all the line off and snapped it off, and my uncle was so mad. He's like, "That's just a bobcat," but, like, my cousins were with us too, and they were scared because we thought it was like a mountain lion. He's like, "There's no mountain lions around here." But it was like, in that moment, I was convinced, like, okay, something in the woods that's not supposed to be there is coming to get me. Because it got so quiet right before it
Mm,
made the sound. Like,
mhm.
everything the crickets stopped chirping.
Wow.
Oh,
It just got eerily quiet. Only thing you could hear was my drag of me fighting
That's
this fish.
fucking crazy. Yeah,
that's
when nature becomes quiet, that is probably the most eerie thing you could ever be around if
Like the
you've spent a lot
frogs.
of time in the woods, regardless. Like anytime nature becomes dead silent, like you hear it in war stories, you hear it in people that have unexplained contact with stuff. It's the dead silent. You hear people talk about with tornadoes too at night, where before the tornado hit or before earthquake hit, everything just went dead silent. I mean,
Yeah.
that's nature. That's nature talking to you in silence.
And I've
telling you to fuck
experienced that
off.
multiple times, not necessarily as,
What?
like, dramatic as that, but, like,
Okay.
when you're out on the water, like, you all of a sudden, like, the frogs just
Mhm.
stop, and you're like, "Why did they just"
10
Yeah,
pounder.
yeah, I wish, but it's just I don't know. Night fishing will really, put some hair in your chest, let me tell you.
Dude.
That's, like
Yeah.
I think that's probably why I don't really get, like, nervous or, like fishing, like, that's where I, like, cut my teeth was night fishing. Literally
Mhm.
the hardest way to fish because you can't see what
Mhm.
you're doing. If you gotta retie your thing, you either have to, like, figure it out or, like, beg your family member to do it, and they're gonna get mad because they don't wanna do it, so
Hey, I will say this: I've heard a bobcat in the wild a couple times, turkey hunting. Well, bobcat and then a fox or a coyote, but a bobcat sounds like somebody getting murdered
Yes,
in
and
this
that's why we
Yeah.
were
wind,
so scared, we're
Yeah,
like
and
yeah.
that shit is.
I
I
thought it was,
mean,
like, a bird getting, like, ripped open or something, like, it just sounded like someone was getting murdered, and I was like,
That's
"Okay, this"
gnarly.
the aliens are here. Because at the time, I remember this actually, we had been talking about like aliens and stuff, and like because when you're out at night, you see all this stuff in the sky, right?
Mhm.
So like you got this in your mind that like, oh, the aliens are gonna come down and get you, and you're just like 7 years old out here fishing at 3 a.m. on the Illinois River. Like it just
Well,
Fuck that.
I've told this story before on the podcast, but Carter and I went camping in South Carolina at this pond that's pretty secluded. It's gated off. You have to get a code to get in, and we were out there. And the first night, I wake up in the middle of the night, just turning over. I'm sleeping in a hammock, turn over, and all of a sudden I hear a kadoosh. So if you've ever taken, let's say, a rock the size of a ball or something, and you throw it in the water, it makes that kadoosh sound, right?
like a
You
carp.
can right. Well, I'm getting to the point. Don't fuck you fuck the story up, Jake. I'm gonna keep telling.
He already
so.
heard it. You already told this story.
Yeah, I know.
You heard it.
But I will say this is my whole thing, right? So we're at this pond. It's the middle of the night. I don't believe in all this bullshit, but I hear this kadoosh. And so I get up and I wear contacts and I take my contacts out at night. So I put my glasses on, full moon. I'm over here looking at the edge of the bank because maybe somebody's over there fucking around on the bank and this and that. I've got a couple guns with me. I got one of them close by. And for 30 minutes, I'm just sitting there trying to look to see maybe if somebody's over there fucking around, some kids drinking, fucking around on the pond. They don't know we're there, this or that. Anyway, it's nothing. And I don't think about the carp. There's carp in this pond. Well, I'd lay down in the hammock after about 30 minutes. And like 10 minutes of laying down, I'm about to go to sleep. My hair kadoosh again. So it wakes me up. Well, the first one was kind of towards the edge, but the second noise was in the middle. And it's these big ass fucking grass carp just jumping straight out of the water. And when they hit, they sound like, a rock going in the water. And regardless, I knew better, but still, that shit is just eerie. It's still eerie. That's the best way I can explain.
Have you guys ever
It's
seen
creepy,
a
eerie.
carp spawn? It's the most aggressive thing you'll ever see. They look like a salmon trying to get up a river. They'll get in like 1 inch of water. Like
come to Sharon
it's
Harris
the
in North
perfect way to put
Carolina, and you will. The carp on Sharon Harris are fucking ridiculous. They fuck that whole lake up. They fuck up the shallow fishing this time of year when the sun comes up for like 2 hours after the sun hits the horizon. They're just on the bank.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked
Fucking
about
shit
before Lewis and Clark, right? Lewis and Clark also said that when they hit, the Pacific Northwest, the Washington, Oregon area, that the fish were so plentiful they could walk across creeks, right? Well, that was just dirty fucking salmon spawning. It was gnarly as fuck, and it's aggressive, it's gross, it's also really fun to fish. But yeah.
Now, do those salmon die? Like they're going up there and they're just that's it.
Yep. So like
They're like a
your traditional
cicada.
yeah, so your traditional salmon will run out and they'll spend, the adolescent portion in the creeks or whatever, and then they'll run out to the sea. And then when they spawn, they'll run in and they'll drop their load and then they die. We've talked about it multiple times to where like you'll get them in the, when they push back in the creeks to do their deal, they don't eat either, right? So you have to like snag fish if you're going to get them. But then when they're done, you can just grab them from their backbone and lift them out of the water. And it's gross, but they're like decomposing because they don't eat. The difference would be like cutthroats. So a cutthroat is like a salmon that, excuse me, a salmon that runs up, does its deal, and then comes back out. So there's like kind of two different. They're but like your traditional salmon, like you get at the grocery store, shit like that, right? When they run up to spawn, they're done. They die. They dump all their eggs and they're done.
What a life, man.
Well, I mean, we talked about it last time.
They go out on top.
Yeah, I mean, we Dalton talked about it 2 episodes ago. He doesn't know how fish fuck. But let me tell you, salmon just come in and dump their shit and wait for somebody else to come and dump
Nobody
their
lives
shit.
a life like a cicada on the 17-year life
We're not
cycle.
talking about, well,
They hatch, they come out of the ground, they hatch out of their shell, they fly around, they have sex, and then they die and get eaten by crows and fish and snakes.
So I had one
Everything.
fly into the water right next to me today, and I was
Uh-huh.
thinking, I was like, man, it's like that thing's gonna
No.
get eaten. And I was thinking
Yeah.
about it. I was like, you know what? He spent 17 years to get to this point. I'm gonna get him out. So I
Yeah.
get him out of the water, and I
Look
look
at
at him.
you.
I look at him, and I was like, oh, he's actually just already done it because his butt was all messed up.
Yeah, he's
Oh.
It's like
dead.
he's just dead. He's just dying.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like,
How
get back
do
in
you
there.
know it wasn't the girl cicada?
Because I think the girl cicada is like,
They have bigger tits.
yeah, they just clearly. But
We
I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's like, man, to spend 17 years underground, and it's like, oh man, I messed up. I flew into the water. That's it. I'm done.
You're
just, like,
fucked. Yeah.
I felt bad for him. I was like, I got you, buddy. I pick him up, and he's like, actually, man, I'm just dead. It's just like,
we were fishing. Me and a buddy were fishing on Sharon Harris last Friday, and he was in the area where a lot of the cicadas were falling in the water right along the bank, and he ended up catching a 20-pound carp on a topwater.
Yeah.
And it kept missing it, and he thought it was a bass, so he threw it over there, and he finally caught it as a carp. And he started looking, and the damn carp and Sharon Harris were coming up and eating the fucking cicadas.
Maybe that's why
The carp
Jake-
were eating the cicadas.
Hold on, maybe that's why Jake caught a fucking catfish.
on top water.
Yeah.
that would explain it, honestly, because
Yeah.
actually I was using a very small frog. that was,
Yeah.
kind of a red color. I don't want to give away the juice, but it's a really good
The
frog.
catfish juice, I'm sure. Well, everybody's
Yeah.
going to hear this a week after the tournament.
I'm gonna tell you
but
what.
yeah.
Every catfisherman just uses old, nasty, fucking chicken titties wrapped in Kool-Aid, and then maybe a little bit of corn.
Like, when I was
that's what
doing
they
the
throw.
night fishing thing, we'd always throw out a catfish pole, and it'd always be chicken livers.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude.
I mean, they were
Smelliest as possible. I knew a guy, and his recipe was:
No,
you
didn't.
go
You're
in.
lying.
And
You
no,
start
I
a story with "I
absolutely-
knew a guy." It's a lie.
Nope, I knew a guy, and his recipe was he would take chicken, like chicken breasts from the grocery store, and he'd go ask him for what was expired. Right, so he'd grab that, and then he'd let it sit in his car for about 1 to 2 weeks in the California sun, just cooking.
That's
Right?
disgusting.
And then he would go chop that bitch up, throw in 2 packets of red Kool-Aid, didn't matter the flavor, just red. He'd wrap that up
Bitch,
and he'd
red
shake it
is
up in a
only
bag.
one. It's
It's
red.
red.
Kool-Aid is red. There's
red.
no different flavor. There's red and blue
anyways,
Kool-Aid.
But he would throw that out there, and he would catch these. When I was trying to fish in Cali in these canals in the East Bay, I was trying to catch like striper and halibut and all this other stuff, right? He would go out there and he would just catch monster fucking catfish. And I was like, I don't want to do that. But I was like, maybe I want to. How did you do that? And that was the recipe. Like, he would literally just take, like, he'd get expired chicken, let it rot in his car for 2 weeks, throw that bitch out.
Can fish not get food poisoning? I've always wondered that.
Oh, that's a great
I don't
point.
think so.
we go to a fast food restaurant, eat the wrong
Yeah.
thing we get.
Yeah. No,
But
that's
you
a
know,
great
you
point.
think about a dog. Think about
Mm.
some of the shit that people feed their dogs.
I definitely feel like dogs get like food poisoning though, because if they eat something they don't
do.
want, you pay the
Yeah,
price.
yeah. Well, even if it's off their normal diet, right? Like if
Right.
our dog goes from chicken food to beef food, I've got to deal with little runs all around the house.
Like we put our dog on one of those like blue buffaloes one time.
yeah.
Biggest mistake of our lives. That high protein stuff, like it was just
Yeah,
like
yeah. Shit
he-
everywhere.
couldn't handle it. And it was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
what they need. I'm like, clearly not.
Nope.
I fed our dogs cabbage one day, and I thought it was the greatest thing
Oh,
ever
bad
because I throw them a big old cabbage leaf, and they would just gobble it up. As 2 labs this a couple years ago, and then my wife texts me because in the morning she would take Stony, one of the labs died, but it was Stony and Otis. They're 85, 90-pound labs, and she would take them for a walk in the morning. She would take them to take Carter to school, and then she would take them on their little walk, half-mile walk. And anyway, she texts me the next morning, goes, I had to go get more dog poop bags.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you give the dogs? I was like, they
Cabbage.
were eating cabbage. And she's like, oh, they were pooping like big old leaves of cabbage
Yep.
out of their hiney. And she was pick loose dog poop up.
Dogs
with big
are a
cabbage leaves,
thing.
and it wouldn't fit the bag, so it was
Yeah.
just a fucking nightmare. And so I
Dogs
never
are a
gave her
weird
dogs.
thing where I feel like between dogs, like domestic dogs and domestic cats, right? This is the thing that always blows my mind, right? Like we have a little dog, a little bit bigger than Paul's newest one, right? But still a little dog, right? But this dog can't eat anything normal, like normal meat, because she'll just fucking diarrhea all over the goddamn house.
Look,
Right, but
raw
she
meat,
can only
raw
eat
meat
kibble.
won't hurt dogs if you start
No.
feeding them table scraps with seasoning
No.
and spices and shit in it,
Stop,
and it's
Paul.
cooked.
Stop,
If you
Paul.
give them
I've
raw
tried.
meat, it doesn't
I've
do
tried
anything.
that. No, this dog is so evolutionally fucked up that it just shits it out. It can't fucking handle it. It just wants shitty kibble.
But if it goes and eats cat poop, no problem.
No, listen.
And
when
they
we
come
had
lick you in
cats-
the face, and you're like, "Oh,
Listen.
give me kisses." I'm like, that bitch. Not only
Listen,
did it
when
eat
we-
cat shit
it
2 minutes
did.
ago, it was licking his
Yep.
butthole 5 minutes
Yep.
ago too.
This dog, because she was small, right? And when we first got her, her first, she's like 10 years old now, right? Her first 4 years, we had 2 cats in the house too. This dog was a cat shit menace.
That's
The
not
point-
point.
Right? To the point where I was like, maybe this is okay because it's less scooping I have to do because this dog just eats like this cat will shit and this dog runs in like a fiend. Like there must be fentanyl in this fucking cat shit because this dog loves it, right? And it would lick my wife's face, and I'd be like, "Oh, just so you know, it just got done eating." I would never let it lick my face because I watched it eat cat shit, right? But now at the point, like, it's just like, how did you go from wolves to this? Like, you fucked up.
Maybe we
Just
just
like-
don't know it. Maybe wolves have always eaten.
cat
shit.
shit.
Well,
Yeah.
dogs in the
Bobcat
wild
shit.
will eat dookie. I mean, they'll eat dookie. That's nothing new.
Wait.
Hey,
do
my
you
dog,
think-
my lab one time ate like half a bag of bird seed. And so for the next 3 or 4 days, it was
you just
pooping
shitting
out,
out bird
seed. And,
flowers, everything.
And so, but the birds were going and eating it like it was a suet
Yeah.
block.
Oh,
Dude, it's
think
like
you
that
should've left
those
it.
coffee beans that go through the monkeys before.
Yeah. What are those?
Oh yeah, the
shit,
fermented
what's the
coffee
name of-
beans. Yeah.
Yeah. They're super expensive. You can get them in Hawaii, I think, or no, not Hawaii. I can't remember.
It's like the
where. No, I got 'em-
Philippines or something. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere tropical.
It's gross as fuck.
Malaysia,
I
maybe?
totally tried it. It tasted like just coffee.
That's not surprising.
Yeah. There's no.
It's always
difference.
underwhelming when
Hey Jake, have you ever had chitlins?
yes,
Oh,
I
no,
have.
he hasn't. No, he
Fried or
hasn't.
boiled?
It was fried, and the only reason I
okay.
knew I had them, someone brought them into work,
Ooh.
and she was like, "Here, try these," and I tried them, and I was like, "This is disgusting." It made me think of the chicken livers I used to catfish with.
And it
I've
was
How
also-
about,
I was tricked into trying chicken gizzards as a kid too, and
Yeah,
that was
yeah, chicken
equally
oh,
as
chicken
disgusting.
gizzards are delicious.
No,
Fried chicken gizzards, man, it's like
Listen.
fried chicken gizzards
bubble.
are like fried bubble gum. You put them in your
Me-
mouth and you chew them for a little bit,
yeah.
and then if you got some good gravy, once you've chewed them, and they're
Mm.
like, I need to either spit this out or swallow it. You eat a big spoonful of gravy and you swallow
Me-
it down. Oh my god, they're delicious.
Me and Paul never agree on anything, but chicken gizzards, I grew up with those as a kid. I'd get them from the Safeway in Tacoma, right? I'd roll those motherfuckers up, right? And they'd give you, we didn't get a gravy for them. We got a real runny ranch, right? And there's something about a runny ranch is way more flavorful than a thick ranch, right? So you dip those motherfuckers in there. They're so good. So good.
Jake,
when
speaking, hold on. Jake,
Yeah.
speaking of eating chicken gizzards and chitlins, when you're traveling for tournaments,
Oh,
What is your diet? Do you bring
that's a good question.
dehydrated
So-
foods, or do
No.
you eat gas station food? How do you eat on a
just
tournament?
grass.
Do you
just
want me to
grass.
be like super honest with you? And we
What-
just had
yes.
this conversation.
Yes,
Yeah.
don't
I-
lie on this podcast. We'll figure it out.
I think that the tournament diet, and this is the exact phrasing I use, is like eating like a toddler. Eating Pop-Tarts. You know, like I've eaten so many chips today, and it's just like you go to the gas station, and it's like you normally wouldn't go there and buy a candy bar. You see a candy bar, it's like, well, you know, I'll get a candy bar.
But
And-
I've seen Brandon Palaniuk eat really
Alex, let him
healthy.
answer the fucking question. We
Well,
didn't ask
he's not
Brandon
me,
fucking
though.
Palaniuk.
That's the
We asked
problem.
Jake.
I mean, I eat crap. I mean, if you go in there and look at my bag right now, there is 2 different chips, some Doritos flavored popcorn.
Mm,
Because I was like, man, that
Whoa.
sounds interesting.
Ah,
that
fuck
fucking
yeah.
sounds delicious.
And then I think
Cooler
there were
Ranch popcorn?
some
Fuck yeah.
cracked pepper peanuts. That's probably the healthiest thing in there.
Okay.
But I mean, to be honest with you, like typically in the past, I have been more prepared. I come with like a loaf of bread, some peanut butter, you know.
Mm.
I always like to have Cliff Bars. I think Cliff Bars are a really easy thing to eat on the water. You just throw them in your kayak and you got something.
Do you
But-
ever? So you know, we've had some folks on here from the Northeast that when they go, they travel a tournament, say find a Chinese buffet typically, and they go
No
eat
way.
a buffet. Do you?
That's
ever,
how
do
you
not
end up
do-
in the water.
Yeah, that's how you end up shitting out the side of your boat or in the drive hole.
We
Yeah,
actually,
couldn't
I
do
won't
that.
say who it was, but we had that happen because we went to Crystal. You guys know what that is? It's
Yeah,
like
oh yeah,
white,
Crystals,
bootleg White Castle. And,
I fucking love it. I love crystals.
and it didn't
though.
sit well. And
I
he's like,
love
dude,
it.
I'm
I
not feeling
love it.
good. I'm like, well,
Dude,
I think it's-
Crystals has a mini fish
That
fillet,
crystal nut.
basically. It's like a small little, but it's like a weird piece of fish. It's the worst fish ever, and I love it. I fucking love it.
So, do you eat while you're on the water? Do you have snacks, or do you bring out like breakfast sandwiches and shit? What do you do when you're on the water to eat?
I typically have I don't know. I usually pack pretty light. I like to have like something that's easy to eat.
Cliff Bar.
So,
Yeah, see, I don't eat when I go fishing. On tournament day, when I'm on the water, I bring a coffee in the morning, and
Yeah.
and regardless if I'm camping,
Never.
traveling, or if I'm at the house, I got a coffee, and I bring my water. But I usually won't eat a single thing. I make a lot of homemade jerky, so I might bring some jerky and eat some of that. But when I'm on the water, I don't eat. Usually because my stomach in the morning is bubbling, and then I don't want to have no like midday doo-doo issues. So I just don't eat. I drink coffee and water, and then in the summertime I'll bring a Pedialyte or a liquid IV or something. So I'll drink that. But I
don't like
cannot
to eat on the water, to be honest.
I
with
don't
you.
either.
Like,
Yeah.
outside of like a Cliff Bar, you won't see me out there like eating last night's pasta. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta
All right,
eat this.
Cliff.
or
All right.
yesterday's breakfast
Yeah.
sandwich that's been sitting in your cooler that's semi-warm.
I
with
was fishing
eggs.
with someone who bought a breakfast sandwich, and I saw him eating that at like 2 p.m. And I'm like, has that been in your kayak all day? And he's like,
Yeah,
it's fine. It's been warm in
fine.
the sun. I'm like, man.
No, that's not
All
how
right.
it works, buddy.
All right, hold on. You were fishing the Bassmaster championships, right? For kayak, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't eat before that? What did you eat before that?
I did not eat on either of those days because I might have had a Cliff Bar at minimum. That would be the most.
All right.
I'm pretty
right.
sure I mostly just drank water. And even that, it's like, it was cold. Like, it wasn't like, like you're
Yeah.
chugging water when it's hot, but when it's cold, you're just fishing.
You should still be chugging water.
So
though,
do
right?
you? So when you
Hold
go
on, Paul.
for a tournament in the morning, do you poop before you get to the ramp?
I mean, isn't
Can
that
you
like the
shit at the
ideal
ramp?
scenario? Yeah, you don't want to
Yeah,
go up
yeah.
the ramp, man.
No, you're right.
So
you want to
that's what
go
I'm
at the
saying. So if you-
Airbnb.
So, all right, so you shit before you leave, but let's say you get to the ramp and you got some residual doo doo up in the hiney. Do you just hold it in until you're done and shit when you get home? Or do
Probably.
you- Okay.
Mhm.
So
I mean, to
that's-
be honest with you, on the river, okay. See, I'm not an idiot. I know that
Yeah.
if that happens, you jump in the water. And I've heard this story that you guys
Fuck
have told
me.
on here where you
Fuck
did
me.
not
Releasing
jump in the
brown
water.
trout.
I
Yeah.
did not. That's me. That's me.
You got it.
Yeah.
You just get in the water, and like
I know.
when we had the
I
crystal
know now.
incident yesterday, I was like, dude, just
Yeah.
get in the fucking water. No one's gonna know, you know.
Yeah.
And I even said
Until
like,
they
you know,
catch a brown trout that's actually a turd.
but anyways, like, I mean, on the river, it's a lot easier to go. Oh, I'm gonna go over to the sandbar. Be right back. No one cares, you know. No one's gonna say anything.
Jump
but-
your ass in Gunnersville tomorrow and go take a dookie.
Well, that's kind of
Just-
where I was going. I was like, I
Yeah.
don't think you could do it at Gunnersville. You jump in, you just like you're in like 10 feet of weeds, and then like
Yeah. And then you got leeches on your dick balls, and
suddenly you're the live bait. You know? It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Hey, what's the meal afterwards though?
yeah,
when
yeah.
you're
What's
done.
your post tournament?
oh,
day
dude, it
meal?
depends on how well you did.
Oh,
So if you
okay.
did
Hold
do-
on. If you didn't do well, what is the meal?
If you didn't do well, you're gonna go out to eat because you're not at awards. So you're like, screw it. You know, we're gonna go, you know, drink a beer. and
Chinese
have a meal.
buffet or Mexican, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Mexican is usually like
Comfort food.
always on the table when we're out there.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like we go to a lot of Mexican. It's super easy because it's the same no matter where you go.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
So you have a good day on the water. You're
What's the
in 10th
meal?
I'm eating
place,
at the
going
house.
at
If I'm
okay.
going into
Some
day 2,
sandwiches or some bullshit.
yeah, I'm not going out to eat. I
Yeah.
hate doing like extracurricular stuff where you got to get up at 3 a.m. and it's like, well, let's go party tonight. It's like, nah, that ain't me.
Do you drink the night before? So you know,
No.
obviously, no drinking
No.
the night before you go out and fish the tournament.
Not me. I mean, I don't know. Like,
Well, I'm
it
asking
depends.
for you. We don't give a fuck about these other.
I was just thinking,
No,
like,
this is
if I
why
had
we
an
have nobody
okay-
else on the show because
Yeah.
they're all pros.
I'm personally like, I usually like to play it pretty safe, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, so usually when I go to a tournament, if I'm camping, staying with people, like I get there on Friday. I don't have time to go Wednesday or Thursday. So my first day is Friday. So I like to hang out and have a good time. And, you know, I might stay up late. For instance, on Lake Murray this year, I was there with Darren Schwinkbeck. Me and Shipwreck
the legend,
stayed
the
up till like
legend.
2:30 in the morning drinking, looking at maps and
Bad
shit,
idea.
and talking fishing. 2:30 in the morning, 3
Bad
o'clock we go
idea.
to bed. The next morning, I obviously feel like shit. I wasn't drinking the whole time, like heavily. I wasn't
But most
partying,
of it.
but I was drinking.
most
But
of it.
but 3 o'clock in the morning, we got up at like 4 o'clock, and then so the rest of the day I feel like doo doo. But you know, to me, going and traveling and camping at a national tournament or a local tournament
different.
anyway, getting to hang out is part of the fun. And
Yeah.
if you can go on a Wednesday or Thursday and you get to kind of get the hangout part Wednesday and Thursday, that means
Well-
by the time Friday night rolls around, you're tired. You're going to bed early. Everybody else is going to bed early, so you can go up. But that first Friday night, if that's when you show up and everybody else shows up, then like everybody's hanging out on Friday night, it's kind of hard to go to bed early and get a good night's sleep.
I agree. Like so we have to get up at Lines End is at 5 on Saturday.
Ooh,
5, God almighty.
I know. I don't know
We
what
covered that.
Bassmasters like
Holy shit.
obsession with like
Is
getting up
the-
early.
Is Gunnersville Central or Eastern?
Well, that's the thing. It depends on where you're at.
Oh, it does.
My phone when I was
That's
up at
why
the
it's
river
5
today,
because
kept
that's
going
why it's
back and
5,
forth.
right? Because
That's why
some
it's
people
5.
were launching at 6, some are launching
Yeah.
at 5. So I guess they got to make it earlier. Otherwise,
Dude,
somebody's
I
launching at
guess.
7.
I mean, in the end, you're still getting the same amount of sleep. So it's like, I don't know. Anyways, like that's the thing that confuses me because like if you launched up at the river, technically you would be launching an hour earlier before everyone else. So you
Right.
just got to
Well, if
keep an
they're
eye.
launching at 6 on Eastern, you're launching on 5 on middle time, then it's the same. I mean, you're still launching
Middle
at the
time.
same time.
Yeah. I just had Drew come in here.
What do you do?
Drew,
You-
Drew,
Oh,
bring him in, Drew.
Hey,
guys?
Hey, what's up, brother?
not too much, man. Just trying to find some fish, man, on Gunnersville.
Hey, man,
Oh, well-
take the headphones over. Jake gave all the juice on what's hot right now.
yeah, he
so-
told us all the spots and what you are catching them on.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to this one. I have to go back and watch it because I just showed up today, so I don't even know what's going on yet. But
Well,
Hey,
you
Drew, how
won't
do
get
you
the
like
juice
the
until
double
next week.
wide? Hold on. How do you like the double wide trailer Airbnb swap?
so look, man, I love this place. I'm actually the one that picked it out. Even though last year we almost got lifted off by a tornado here at this double wide. So let's hope the storms tomorrow, Jake, aren't too bad. But yeah, this is the perfect fisherman's type of Airbnb. It's cheap. We got room. No one cares. We park on the lawn. I mean, it's right kind of mid-lake. This is perfect. So yeah.
Look, they got a tube TV behind Drew's left
I
shoulder.
know,
too.
that's
There's
the
two
funniest thing.
TVs. There's two
You
TVs.
should see the
Did
one
anybody
above him,
bring? Did
even
anybody
worse.
bring their AV cables to plug in to watch Netflix?
play N64?
I actually have a Fire Stick at least and the remote for video games in my truck, but we won't have time for it on this one. But anyway, enough nonsense. I want to say hey to you guys, and
We'll see you, Hoss.
Good
Yeah.
luck.
thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Hopefully Jake beats your ass.
I don't know about that.
Dude, I love it, man. I got the championship. I don't care about anything else.
Drew's like he can beat me. I
Yeah.
beat him in everything else before here.
Oh,
Beat
God.
Hey, look, beat
You
him
know,
this
the
weekend
funniest
in
thing
the
about-
Sholey, and then rub that, and you get
Exactly.
to holler at him.
The funniest thing about Drew winning is he literally we stayed right by like literally 2 minutes from where he won. So he
Well,
got to
I mean,
wake up at like
Listen, you'll be good because it's 9:30. You're here doing a podcast. Advancing your career on this world famous podcast. This chum grew. What's his name? Grew Durgery. Is that his name? Yeah. That's his name. He's over there out drinking, gallivanting. Jake won't say it, but from what I heard, he was at a gentleman's club all night. So he's got no money.
I do know that some of the other guys are out at like some place called Hollywood's.
Oh,
So-
Hollywood is
Oh.
probably basically like Famous Dave's.
It's a hole in the wall, let me tell you, because I actually went there with him last night, and when we got to it, I was like, "Oh, this place looks mid." And I said that just because I knew it would make them mad that I said mid. And they're
Can
like,
you
Mid.
smoke inside of Hollywood's? Can
No,
you
you
smoke
can't.
cigarettes
He's like,
inside?
"No, what do you mean? This place looks awesome." Get in there. Like the front of house looks sketch at best.
Yeah.
But then they reveal like, "Oh, you guys can just go to the back by the bar," and that's where it
Oh.
was actually nice. It was actually nice back
Okay.
there. So shout out to Hollywood and I guess Stevenson, Alabama. It's actually a
Oh.
legitimately nice restaurant.
All right.
Okay. What is
Not
the
mid.
best? What is the best food that you've had on a tournament that you went and stayed at? Do you remember the name of the restaurant or what type of food it was that you had?
Dude, we
at a
went to
tournament?
this. So, I said all Mexicans the same. We went to this
Yeah.
bomb Mexican place in Oklahoma
Wow.
that
Oh,
I cannot for the life of me remember the name, but it was so good. It was like authentic Mexican. It wasn't like copy and paste.
Tex-Mex. It wasn't
So y'all were
Tex-Mex,
eating
yeah.
tripe and lingua and like real.
Yeah, they had
authentic-
like real stuff where it was like, oh yeah, we cooked a
Props to
big
you,
batch of
Paul.
this
Props to you,
today.
Paul.
yeah.
Uh,
Corn tortillas, no flour bullshit.
I can tell you though, like to be quite honest, like outside of
Uh.
that, like I haven't eaten a lot of good food on tournaments because
Yeah.
most of these places we're going are like Stevenson, Alabama. Like no offense to Stevenson, but
You're like,
guy
all right,
even-
cool. You got
guy at
barbecue.
Hollywood-
We all got barbecue.
the guy at Hollywood's like, we got the best wings in town, and my
Oh.
buddy's like, is it because you're the only wings in town? He's like, that's true, but
If he said that to his
Wait,
y'all
hold
server, y'all they spit in your food.
I mean, he was
He
joking
said-
around with it.
They weren't when
he
they
was
spit
like,
in your food before they brought it out.
Look,
This
Jake,
motherfucker said our wings are the best because it's the only wings in town.
I'm gonna decipher right now. They said you got the best wings in town at a strip club, and he was like, "Yeah, we do."
Hey, what's the? Can you think of the worst food that you ever had while you're at a tournament? Does that ring a bell at any point?
Oh man,
Have you ever
Call it
eaten
out.
anything where like I think I'm?
Call it out.
You ate it and then
Everything
you're like,
from
I feel
Buc-ee's.
fine, but tomorrow I think I might be sick.
I'm trying to think. Like I'm trying to run down the list in my head. I honestly think that the food up over Cross that I had was pretty bad, but I just can't
Yeah.
remember what it was.
It's everything there. They're gross up there in Wisconsin.
Dude, I love lacrosse. If you've never been fishing at lacrosse, that's a place you
I've never
have to
been.
go.
Yeah.
What makes it so good?
It's just there's so many fish and there's so much you
Yeah.
can do. You can fish however you want.
Yeah.
Your rules. You want to go out there and throw a shaky head for 9 hours by all means you can catch fish doing that.
Is it all smallies or is it a mix of small and large?
It's mostly largemouth.
Mm.
When I went up there, I did really well on smallmouth though, so you can do well on smallmouth.
That's cool as shit.
So that's the only
All
two
right.
species. No spotted bass.
Hey, I got one more question for Alex gets into his stuff. What's the story and the journey of where you are in your fishing career now? Like, when did you start fishing, and how did you get into fishing, and how did you get into tournament fishing and all that shit?
Well, I mean, I would say that night fishing was where I got my start when I was a kid. Because I mean, if I didn't do that, like, I don't think I would be nearly as hardcore as I am today. Because
Mm.
a lot of people, like, you see a lot of people on social media, they're like, "Yeah, I'm hardcore about fishing," and like this is something that they started like since COVID. Like, I'm really into
Yep.
fishing. I go fishing all the time. I was like, dude, I've been like that since I was 5. And like, I'm not just saying like, oh yeah, I've been fishing my whole life. Like, literally, it's been like fishing 24/7 since I was a kid. And it was all because of like the hardcore way I used to fish when I was young. I mean, that like night fishing is like, it's stupid. Like, I don't recommend it, but it's like it's a great way to learn how to just be a good angler because
Yeah.
you don't see anything that's going on. Like, you know, it's dark.
How
And
did you transition then into tournament kayak fishing? Were
so
you tournament boat fishing, or did you just get in a
I do
kayak?
have a boat,
How'd you
but I don't
find
really
that
like
shit?
it. Yeah, I mean, like kayaks, I started doing because like I lived in Austin for like 6
Mm.
years, and kayaks are getting real popular, and everyone down there is fishing out of a kayak on those lakes. Like, you ever
Mm.
seen that homeless fisherman guy?
I
Mhm.
have. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's actually fishing where I used to fish all the time around like all the literally like under the highway going straight through Austin.
Mhm.
He's down there figure eighting a glide bait for like a 10-pounder. So
Mhm.
like I started fishing those sorts of waters and like I just got really into it. And I was like, this is fun. I'm gonna start tournament fishing. So I fished the 2000, I think it was 2019 KBF National Championship, and it was not like I didn't do great or anything, but then COVID hit and like it made it really easy to go kayak fishing because you had to be by yourself anyways,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You just take your kayak out there and you don't have to talk to anyone. That's one of the things I love the most about kayak fishing is like with a boat, you know, you go fishing with someone, you got to talk to them the whole time. You go out in a kayak, you don't have to. You go off by
Mm.
yourself, you know.
Would you tournament fish
Oh
if
man.
would you tournament fish if you weren't doing the kayak stuff, or would you just
I
float
would not
fish?
bass boat tournament fish. I have no like desire to do that. Now I would do like maybe like a local derby like on a Wednesday night with my buddies type
Yeah,
of thing.
little team
I don't think I
tournaments.
would like
Yeah.
try to like I think the idea of like being an elite series angler is like I used to want to be. I'll be honest. Like when I was a kid, I was like all about that stuff. But like I think that is a dream that is like just it's a tough way of life and it's really tough to make it into that.
Yep.
So I mean, I envy like props to everyone that does it, but like there's 99.9% of them that don't do it, and these guys are sleeping in their cars. They're spending all their money.
It's
Like
sad. It's
I just,
ridiculous. Yeah.
it's honestly kind of embarrassing how poorly some of these professional anglers get paid at the start. Like, I mean, these guys are busting their butt, and like they're barely making staying
Dude,
afloat.
the
Most of them aren't
payouts,
staying afloat, to be honest.
yeah,
Like
the
they go
payouts haven't increased since the
in fact,
payouts are the
it
same since the
decreased.
90s. It's fucking
Yeah.
stupid.
Well, because like Hank Parker won $1 million when he won the classic. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
All right.
Like getting to the point. Damn it, Alex, hold the fuck on. Look,
Didn't say
here's
anything.
here's my thing. The tournament fishing for me is a competitive thing. Like
Nobody gives a shit about you.
I like to tournament fish, and if I wouldn't fish out of a kayak, I would. I don't know at this point in time. I've met so many
No.
guys that do team tournaments that, if I had to sell my kayak and I couldn't tournament kayak fish, I probably have some buddies I could hop in and do our local team tournaments. But if I had never got the kayak tournament fishing, I wouldn't have met a lot of the boat guys. So like I don't know, because our clubs around here nowadays don't really take a lot of non-boaters in a club setting. So
have you ever done a team tournament for kayaks?
No, I haven't done the team tournament. I haven't
We
done
just
that.
did
We don't
one,
have
like,
them.
last weekend, and it was a blast.
Yeah.
When we went down the Kayak Adventure Series, one of the big
Mm.
aspects of that, which I've been helping run, is the team tournament aspect, and, like, it was super popular. There's people that only fish the team tournament.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh, real quick, Alex, I know we're getting towards the end, but let's talk about the
Yeah.
first river series that y'all fished. Kind of recap that real quick. Just tell us what it is and how it went and how fun it was, because it looked pretty fucking awesome.
Oh, dude, it was a blast. Like, honestly, like, it was just there was so much to do. You know, people were it was a tournament that, like, would cater to someone like Alex, because it wasn't necessarily about the tournament. It was about just going there and have a good time, hang out with the homies. You know, here's the great thing. We have it set up so it's a half day on Friday, so you fish 3 to 7 on Friday, so you get an evening bite. And then you go Saturday and you fish the Saturday. But the great thing is like, if you wanna go out and party during the opening ceremonies on Thursday, guess what?
Oh,
You go
that's
out
what I
there and
wanna
get
do.
sloshed
That's what I
on
wanna do.
Thursday night,
Mhm.
and you don't have to wake up early on Friday.
But y'all,
So
Alex, they got some tournaments that are coming up near
In
you.
New Jersey, where I
Yeah.
can just get hammered and hang out with stars.
But yeah, we're actually one of the ones coming up is, up there in Pennsylvania,
Dude,
on the
Alex,
Susquehanna.
that's like 2 or 3
Oh,
hours from you.
sussy. Yeah, that's a lot of
You can
driving.
go stay with Jake Harshman and
There's no
Josie.
fucking way I'm gonna stay up with Jake and Waffle Stop Josie. I don't know how that's gonna happen.
But I mean,
No, I think we actually talked about this tour almost 6 months ago, right? Rudd came on and kind of introduced kind of what's going on with this. I think this is an awesome idea. It's not ultra. It is competitive because it's a tournament, right? But it's not like it's. I think this kind of series is more on why people love kayak fishing. This is the kind of heart of it, and I really enjoy it. And maybe I will go, and maybe I'll miss the date like I did my last tournament. But yeah.
I mean, it's a good time. I mean, I don't know. There was only one person I think that didn't have a good time, and it's just
Yeah.
because he was just
Who was that?
well,
Named.
yeah, I don't actually know his name, but he didn't get his food at the dinner, and he was
Oh.
so mad about it. And I saw him
I'd
the
be
next
mad
day.
about that too.
I
I'd
was
be
telling
mad
you
about
not- and
that.
I was
How do
like-
you not get your food and everybody else does?
He just wasn't, I just don't think he was on top of it, because they came out with like
grumpy
6
pants,
plates of
grumpy
food
pants.
saying like, "Hey, who's this? Who's this order?" So
No,
I was like,
yeah,
clearly
yeah,
that
yeah.
was it. But I saw him the next
Grumpy
day. I was like,
pants.
"Hey, man, did you ever get your food?" And he was like, "Hell no." But I think everybody
saw he
outside
was
him-
upset, and I'm gonna ask him, Are you still upset?
It's like maybe he got over it. I don't know. But it was a
All
good
right.
event. Like it was fun. I think if you guys were there, you would have had fun.
Oh
Yeah, I'm
absolutely.
excited to
Sounds
see where that
awesome.
trail goes, because it
I
does
am
go
too.
back to the roots of
Yep.
some of the fishing, and Drew with the River Bassin series way back when, kind of build it around that, so it's that skinny water. One of the things that interests me, and I can't make any of these, but one of the things that's really cool about this is that Drew does have it where it's not only a fishing tournament, but it's a social interaction.
Yeah.
And to me,
I think that's
like,
cool.
I go to these national tournaments. I usually do one a year. This year I did
Well, yeah.
two. For
You
me,
just said that already, Paul.
I know,
You just said
but
that
for
already.
me, the biggest thing that I
Oh, okay,
enjoyed
cool.
was going
Repeat
to
it. Cool.
meet the folks that have been on the podcast, or
Hang out
folks
with the
that we know,
homies.
hang out with the folks that we know each other through social media, and we get to meet once or twice a year, and to be able to come together and meet in person and shoot the shit and talk, like I enjoy the social aspect of it just as much as I do the tournament. Now on the local side, I want to whoop your ass, but when I go to the bigger tournaments, like for me, I really do first and foremost like the social aspect, getting to see the people that Alex and I have had on the podcast, that we've met through the podcast, getting to meet folks like that in person and getting to talk shit. And in the end, for me, getting to talk fishing because the majority of our interactions are always talking about, fishing. I love that aspect. I love talking about fishing. And when you get with some of these guys that are traveling all over the country fishing, you get to pick up a lot of information. So I love the social aspect of the bigger tournaments and national tournaments where you get to travel and meet folks
Cool.
in person.
We do have a big one coming up. It's up in Michigan at Wild Whitehall. So that's our next one.
Hopefully Paige can hit that one.
Yeah.
She lives a lot of places, apparently.
She does, but she has never done. She's been on this podcast like 3 times and never done a shotgun round. She leaves early and she won't show her feet.
Okay. On that note,
I will, though.
Hey, Ilyak, and this is we're about ready to hit the only scripted part of the show. It's the rapid fire shotgun round. Before we get there, though, I want to give you an opportunity to shout out any sponsors, anybody you'd like to thank, whatever you'd like. The floor is kind of yours at this point.
Okay.
And then we're going to just be degenerate. So this is your opportunity.
Far as sponsors, I sponsor myself. You
Good.
can find me
Baller.
on Instagram, this handle, and TikTok and YouTube. Starting to post a little bit more there more consistently. So, I mean, people are like, "Oh, I want to watch long form videos," and you post them and no one watches them. So go over there and watch them. They're a lot of work. So
It is a lot of work. Yeah.
it's not for the faint of heart.
Hopefully you guys watched last week's episode for a little more tips from Ramon on how to make that a little less brutal. But yeah. All right. Well,
It's time.
Boys and girls, let's see how far down the rabbit hole we can go today. Woo! It only takes one.
all right. So the Bass and Brews faithful, the Brewskis as we call them, are a very loving bunch, but they are very, very crucial on a couple things. And that's what we're going to ask you on. We're going to ask you a set of rapid fire questions. I don't need an explanation unless we ask for it. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. Wacky or Texas rig?
Wacky.
My man, is that, are you going to weight that or no?
Nah.
Mm,
Waiting
okay.
is not it.
Little bitch. Is it Crocs or flops?
Flops.
Okay. Flops. All right. That's okay.
Now I had a pair of Croc flops that were like the Croc
What?
material, but flops, and they were awesome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend those.
Yeah. There's something about that sponginess, right? Like
Yeah.
that big cushion that they give. I get it. On your way to the water, are you listening to hype music or slow jams?
Hype music.
And what does that mean for you? What is hype music for me? Because that means something for everybody.
I mean, I like rock personally. Like, I mean, it could
Okay.
either be like punk or like classic rock. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't know.
What's it
pretty
right
well
now?
versed
Give
in-
me 3 bands right now that are just jazzing you the fuck
Dude,
up.
I've been listening to. I don't even know if this is hype music, but when I drove to the lake this morning, I was listening to Alice in Chains of all things, and I was thinking,
hell
yeah.
man,
yes.
I was like, yeah, I'm really into this, but also like
Yeah.
it's also somehow really depressing.
sad. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really sad. Yeah. You're gonna get
For, like,
really
Rooster.
into heroin.
Rooster is like really like
Yeah, dude, it's gnarly. It's gnarly.
You
All
know
right.
what's crazy is when I'm going to the boat ramp, it can be a 20-minute drive or an hour and a half drive. I don't listen to shit. I ride in silence.
I
Okay.
did that
Fucking
today
psycho.
actually on the way
That
back.
creeps
I was
me out.
like, I don't deserve
Anybody
to
who
listen
listens
music.
to nothing, it creeps me out. Matt Collins said that too. That shit creeps me out.
Yeah.
You
Now, on
guys
the
are
way
fucking
home, I got-
psychopaths.
On the way home, I got TikTok going, but on the way to the ramp,
What?
for whatever
Wait,
reason,
hold on. On the way home, what do you
That's
mean
illegal.
TikTok going? Wait,
That's
what do you
illegal.
mean? You're just watching TikTok on the way home? You
No, I'm
fucking
listening
felon?
to it, and then I turn on my voice activation, and I say next, and it goes to the next
No,
TikTok.
you
I
are
never, it's hands
fucking.
free.
You are like you're an elder millennial who's trying to
Man.
be a fucking.
I'm a
Gen Z
zennial,
kid.
bitch.
Man
I'm
causes
a zennial.
15-car pileup for watching TikTok while driving.
No shit,
I'm not
right?
watching. I'm listening to I'm listening.
I will say, Total side note, TikTok's great for music with the Zach Bryan eulogy song. Have you guys heard that yet?
Mm-mm.
It is heartbreaking. Man, I'm not even gonna mention it. It's an unreleased song, but if you go on TikTok and you look up Zach Bryan eulogy song, holy shit. Is this a really good song? If you like Zach Bryan and music like that length, or you know what I mean, that genre. But it's a really good like law song. It's
See the
Hit
one
me
that
in the
sings
feels.
"Creep"
no, that's Radiohead.
and I creep. Yeah,
That's
keep
TLC,
it
isn't it?
on the down low.
Wait, no. Actually,
Nobody
Radiohead
wants
sang
to know.
a different song
and
called
I
Creep.
creep.
Yeah, I think he's thinking of the other one.
He is. All right. If you're fishing, you got a 6-hour session, right? Do you want 5 2-pounders or 1 8?
7-pounder. God damn.
No.
You won't
Do
catch
you want-
5 2-pounders and 1 7-pounder in an 8-hour session.
No.
of fishing.
Or do you want 1 frozen 13-pounder?
Do I get the state record?
Yes.
I'll go with the Frozen 13. But on
Oh, this motherfucker's trying to cheat the record.
the rigor mortis. He's getting the rigor mortis
fresh
13-pounder.
see, I wouldn't do that. I'd bring mine in fresh. It wouldn't
No,
be
but do you want to hit? Do you want quantity or quality?
quality. I think anyone who says quantity is a psycho. You got to get that big one. Now, if
But-
you're in a tournament, you're in
But
a
it's not
tournament.
tournament. It's just an 8-hour. And
yeah,
here's the
if I'm
thing,
just
though.
fishing by myself, you just catch a big one, and you're just like, you know what? I don't need anything else.
You say that the people that
Oh,
want quantity in this question are psychos, but I'd be willing to bet it's about
Most.
50-50 in this podcast.
Yeah.
In the 3 years we've been doing it,
I
I bet
feel like
it's
they're
close to
lying to
50.
themselves.
It's
No.
50-50 where people go, they want the 5 2-pounders over the 1 7-pounder. And this isn't a tournament setting. This is just strictly going out fishing.
Yeah.
Could be tournament or not. It doesn't matter. What do you want to do? I bet we
You'd rather
are
the
we
big
are
one.
close to
Okay.
50-50.
That's
We
just
are.
crazy.
Yeah,
Let
but
me
I
ask
want
you
to
this:
catch a big
do
one.
you ever remember a day where you caught 5 2-pounders? Probably not, but
Yep.
you're gonna remember
Yep.
when you caught the
No.
I got
five.
buddies.
I
I got buddies that
100%
remember
do.
when they caught 30 or 40 fish because they don't catch no big ones.
I have a buddy that I fish on the river like that. He's like, "Oh man, I caught like 12." And I was like, "Well, any big
Yeah.
ones?" He's like, "Hell, they're all like 11 inches." I'm like,
Yeah,
"What?"
dude.
Fuck that. Look,
Yeah,
everybody
dude,
says
I'm pulling
if
him
he
in.
put that on, if he put that on YouTube, he'd be bigger than you because he caught more fish.
Probably.
look, I don't give a. I could catch 20 fish, and if they're all 1-pounders, like I'm
I
not
give a fuck.
happy.
Oh,
I'm not happy.
Oh, I'm
I'm
so
not.
happy. That's such
Look,
a good
get-
day of rod
I-
bending.
If I go fishing 8 hours and I catch a fucking 6-pounder,
That's my
if I catch a 6-pounder in the first 30 minutes I'm fishing and don't get a bite the rest of the fucking day, to me, that's one of the best days.
This is
fishing ever.
why me and Paul are the best co-hosts together because we are so opposite on this. I'll catch whatever fish, honestly, and Paul knows this, and everybody
What
else
about
knows it.
catfish on a frog?
What?
That would be
Listen,
pretty
I'd be
fucking
so
awesome.
fucking stoked. Honestly, if I'm gonna go out there and the bass fishing is light, I'll fucking switch over to crappie and I'll just sit
too.
around and crappie fish for days. Like I will catch 1-pound crappies all day instead of bass. I will give up on bass so quick.
If I brought a cooler to take them home, I'm okay with it. But if I don't have anything to take them home with, fuck that
Dude,
shit. I don't
what
want
was
to.
it like-
I don't go fishing to catch crappie or perch
Oh,
or
I
brim
go fishing
or
to catch
catfish.
fish. Nah,
I
don't
want to
give a shit.
catch. I want to catch big fish. I don't give a fuck who you are. Anyway,
Yeah.
didn't mean to derail you. Go
All
ahead,
right.
Alex. Next question.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Nah.
What is that?
I'm
What?
No.
I'm kind of surprised.
No.
I thought him being
No.
from Illinois is
Yeah.
he might like pineapple on pizza.
No,
It's
he
close
don't
to
know
just
native.
about
what-
pizza.
That's like one of those things where it's like, sure, if like you had to have it, right? Sure, I might
okay,
eat it,
okay.
but I would never order it.
Is
Yeah, yeah.
is Chicago deep dish pizza or is it pizza casserole?
I mean, it's like a hunk of bread, basically.
So
Luckily,
you're
I'm not
saying
from-
deep dish is trash.
I don't think it's trash. I think it's okay, but like
But
I
but
wouldn't
it-
want to
man.
eat
My
like
man, hold on.
2 pieces of it. I'd eat one, you know.
But
Yeah,
is
yeah.
it is deep dish pizza or is it casserole? I feel like it's a
He
casserole.
just said it's shit. and he'll only eat one piece. Why everybody else, any normal piece of pizza, everybody's like, I'll eat 3 or 4. So I'll take that as yeah, exactly. What do we have, Paul? Hey, Jake, have you ever eaten beaver?
No,
You've never eaten beaver? Okay.
no.
Dude, you
There's
live
not a
where
lot.
Lewis and Clark started
I know. I
their
was
journey.
thinking about that. When I was younger, my dad was really into reenactments, and I remember vividly that they actually had like cooked beaver at one of these reenactments.
Really?
You know, where you could buy it, and it was
Yeah.
like a little kebab thing.
Okay.
So,
The best I've
but
ever
you never
had
the
pulled.
kebab?
nope.
You never had the beaver kebab? That would have been
No.
huh. All right.
Interesting way to
Listen,
prepare it.
I mean, I could understand stabbing a beaver to put it on the flame. It makes sense. I don't know why we're all giggling. This is ridiculous.
Have you ever caught a
Anyways.
beaver on a topwater?
Dude, beavers used to scare the crap out of me when we were night fishing because they
Oh,
slam
God.
their tails down, dude.
Yeah, they're the silent killers, and
It's
I
like-
don't mean they're going to attack you and kill you, but at night they
They'll scare
slap
you
their
the fuck
tail,
out.
and if your heart's
Even
not right, or if
even
you don't
during
have
the day.
lithium, they're going to give you a heart attack.
What are
because
they trying to accomplish? That's what I've always
They're
wondered.
scaring
it's
you
a fear
away from the
factor.
den. Well,
Mhm.
they're scaring you away from their den. You're close to their den at that point.
So it's just a fear factor.
Well, they
They're
win.
making themselves bigger
They
than they
win.
are.
They win. All right, Paul, did we get him? Oh, wait. Finesse or power fishing? I think I know the answer.
But we've never asked that.
We have.
No.
I don't know. That's tough.
Did somebody
seen
just
your
say what the
TikToks.
fuck in the background? Who just said
no,
what the fuck
Drew
in the background?
Gaggery.
No, it's actually dust off.
Dust
He wanted
You
Oh,
suck.
fuck this guy.
You're terrible.
Hey, what's up? Oh, he's going to do horrible. He's drunk as fuck. He's done at this point.
Yeah, well, the fishing was dog shit today, so that's what you guys.
No.
We heard that you
We
flew
already
around
heard.
this whole oh
Oh,
shit.
he closed out. He closed out.
Oh my
Dude.
god, we got another page.
Yeah. We gotta wait, but does seem drunk as fuck. Which
He's
is
not drunk.
funny
They
as
aren't
shit.
drinking. Hey,
No.
hey, Alex, let me ask
Yeah.
you a question.
Yeah.
Why didn't you fish your tournament?
I missed it, bro. I told you I missed it. Hold on.
he hit the thing. He is drunk.
I know he is. I
He
am
should not be touching nothing.
I
Damn
had
him.
20 years in the military. I could see that man roll in. I was like, that man is military drunk. I understand it.
So to answer your question, though,
Yes.
I would probably say power fish, but I do finesse fish quite a bit.
Yeah.
All right, we got
Okay.
2 more questions. Alex will ask the last one. I'm going to ask this one. You going to spend
Yep.
more on a rod or a reel?
All right, so I'm very well versed
Oh.
in this. If you're spending more on a reel, you're doing it wrong. It's a rod, 100%.
Ah,
100%. I would take a $99 Walmart special, but when it comes to a
bait
rod,
caster? Bait caster? Okay.
yes, you actually should spend more on a spinning reel than a bait caster because the drag on a spinning reel matters more.
Mhm, mhm.
That's a good point. Okay.
I mean, it
okay.
definitely does. Like if you're fighting a
Yeah,
fish,
yeah.
like the drag is doing all the work, and
Yeah.
I think
No,
rod
you're
action
100%.
is just like that's it. Like you got to have a good rod.
Hey, I will tell you this: if you want a good beaver, get a good. You got to have a good rod.
It's true.
Is he naked in here?
So
What is going on?
Just
in the
somebody just say
background?
who's naked in here.
Paul, that Alex's beard is way better, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah, Dustoff thinks my beard is better. I heard that. Yes, sir.
Dustoff is just mad because he can't grow a beard.
that's true. He actually did tell me he can't.
He can. He's in the military still.
All right, Alex.
No,
this
like
man-
physically, like he's been in there so
Oh.
long it just won't grow.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what he says. He's just scared to grow
No.
one out because
I said. That
Dustoff
too.
is a very handsome man, and he's just scared if he grew a beard out, he would be more handsome, and then it would be rough. Anyway, this man has
All
to
right.
get ready to go fish. It
He
is late.
does. Hey,
We need to
every
finish
great,
this up.
Every great angler loves a sandwich with your top 3 sandwich proteins.
Number one's peanut butter. That is like
All
I gotta
right.
have.
I'll
peanut
take
butter.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
Crunchy,
Easy.
crunchy, or
crunchy.
not. Okay.
Crunchy.
It's got to be crunchy. Yeah. There's
Crunchy's
no
so
other.
good. I don't know why people don't like it sometimes.
Are
don't
you
understand.
a peanut butter snob where you want just peanut butter and salt, or just peanuts, or
Huh?
do you eat the ones that have like palm oil and all the other bullshit in them?
I usually do buy the nicer ones.
He does.
Sometimes the ones with palm oil are just too sugary. I don't know.
Bo, they give me instant heartburn when
Yeah.
if I eat peanut butter that's got like additive oil, it gives me fucking instant heartburn.
I would say like I'd have to do like a fried
Research.
fish.
Oh,
Mm.
That's
number
another
2.
one. Yeah.
Number 2,
Fried
fried
fish.
fish. Okay. All right. All right.
And then
What
I'm
kind
gonna
of
do
fish? Bass
Uh,
or
You know, I'll be
oh
honest. Fried.
shit, we forgot to ask that
fried
question. Do you eat
largemouth is
largemouth
good.
bass?
What's up?
I mean, I've had it quite a bit. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
it's good.
Anyway, fried
I mean,
fish.
it's good.
Okay.
I mean, fried
It's fucking
largemouth
delicious.
is good. I've
These
even
people
had
are like
it
bass
baked
tastes
and
like
it's-
mud or bitches, and they wouldn't know
Paul.
if I fried fish.
Shh, Paul.
Shh.
You know, I've never had it, but I've been told that smallmouth is really good.
Oh, you should catch some tomorrow and eat them. Fry them up before the tournament.
At the
You're
weigh.
like, I just caught this 20-inch smallmouth
At
for
the
dinner.
weigh-in. After you weigh in, you fry him up.
Come
right
to the
away.
weigh-in. Fry. Yeah, get there early and start frying smallmouth at the weigh-in.
All right. What's number 3?
I'm gonna do something weird, and I think this has been
Oh.
done before. But what about
Yes,
like
sir.
a spicy black bean burger? That's like one of my.
Oh my
all-time
god, no, he just fucked. You know what? This
Oh,
motherfucker
you
just.
I'm not
fucking
talking about
black
like
bean.
piled beans on there, but I'm talking about like legitimately like a well cooked black spicy black bean burger.
No, that is
No.
not a fucking protein. You know
Dude,
what? You
beans
were
are
doing
loaded
so
in protein,
good.
man.
This is, but we no. This no. They have protein in them. That you, goddamn, you and Jess. Oh my, I don't even know. I'm at a loss for words right now. This was like Ethan.
We did some controversy.
This was like Ethan. It was a great podcast if
Not
we would have
Ethan.
gone longer than 45 minutes. This
No.
was a wonderful, great
This is a
podcast. And you said a
sachet. He
fucking
pulled it
spicy bull bean. Do you have? Oh my god, this man said
All
black.
right.
It's not as bad as spinach.
spinach isn't a protein.
Yeah,
Well,
Bailey from.
But
I mean, to be
CNN
honest
says
with
got
you-
spinach.
thick
to be
ass
honest with
thighs
you,
due to
like,
spinach.
If I had to like throw a substitute, it would just be like a black forest ham, like straight up.
Yeah,
like
okay.
that is like
That's
the
That's
easiest.
better.
Like,
That's better.
Yeah.
Thank you.
like
You
if you're
kinda
like, oh,
saved
let's
it.
go to the water, it's like, all right, hit me with the ham. But I'll be honest.
So you're
like,
saying sometimes it depends. Like the crew that you have right now, you got a drunk dust off. You
dude,
got
they're
Drew
getting rowdy in the
Gregory,
house.
who is literally ordering up something from DoorDash that nobody wants to talk about. And you go, hey, boys, can I get a black bean burger?
Spicy black bean
That's
burger.
like
A spicy
man.
black bean. Is that going to
With
happen? or no?
avocado.
Oh, there it is. All right. Well, on that point, hang out for a minute. I think you kind of. I got to play this song as much as possible because I pay so much for it. But anyways, Jake, hang out for a minute. Thank you, everybody, for joining the show. If you like it, go find us wherever. I don't know how to end this properly at this point.